Morning Nation, we are watching this with you, and if it gets weird, blame Jimmy.
No, most guys don't blame the timeline, they blame themselves.
That line hits like a bill you forgot existed.
Hey, today we're gonna show you what change really looks like past week 3 because week 4 is around the corner.
Week 4 is where motivation dies and receipts start talking.
Hey, we have one hard rule in the lab. Yes, don't hit the snooze button or you will be 9 minutes behind the guy who doesn't.
Nothing motivates like imaginary beef with a stranger at 6:01.
Oh my God, he's a liberal. Oh my God, he's a conservative.
People collect labels like they are Pokemon, then wonder why they are exhausted.
What is this host of the show? I wonder what he is. Does he wear the blue underwear? Does he wear the red? Oh, what are his views on everything? It's just woke trash.
Or maybe it is just a guy talking, and you are addicted to outrage.
Hey, center stage, Sadie Marshall.
Center stage is the only place you can hear kindness and chaos in the same breath.
And this conversation is wild in the best way. Her business? She cleans, well, fuck man, exploded heads, stabbed bodies. Neiman's like, that's not what you're supposed to say. No, I know. It's crime scene cleaning.
That job title has zero chill, and I respect it.
We had a guy who climbed a bunch of mountains with one lung.
Meanwhile, I get winded opening email.
Over 10,000 hours of Mornings in the Lab live content has been consumed on our network. And let that land for a quick second. 10,000 hours.
That is not content, that is a relationship.
And if somebody tried to watch that in one straight run, no sleep, no breaks, no I'll catch the replay later, that is 416 days of Mornings in the Lab content. That's more than a year of non-stop watching our show. One person, one stream, one continuous stream.
If you watched 416 days straight, you deserve a plaque and medical supervision.
These hours didn't come from free time. No, they came from real tape.
Free time is a myth. You are paying with your life either way.
They came from intention. It was intentional hours of us showing up and you guys showing up with us. And they came from people watching while trying their shoes on before the gym. Somebody in a truck, a tired parent, an entrepreneur, a guy who never talks about how he's doing. That's what those 10,000 hours are made of. But hours are commitments.
Commitment is the word everybody wants until it sends an invoice.
Hours are, I'm coming back. Hours are like, this matters. Hours are, I'm building something with you. Because every time you choose to hang out with Keith and John, every time you choose conversation over content, every time you choose accountability over comfort, you're not just watching, you are training.
That is the part people hate, because training has consequences.
Proof that people are hungry for something better than just hot takes. Proof that live conversation, human, imperfect, honest, still wins.
Imperfect is the new premium, and perfect is the new suspicious.
10,000 hours, man, over actually close to, 10,300 and somewhat hours people have spent with you and I since we started the show.
So the first one is basically, the first one I sent you is kind of my private platform where I can say whatever the fuck I want and not get censored.
I'll give you, I'll do some research on topics. We'll put something together, do some B-roll alongside of it. Speaking of building trust, yesterday I got some human.
Topic too, man. People want to learn.
100%. Yep.
They want to learn from someone that they believe.
Yes.
Trust. There's no job. The job description is simple. Whatever happened, clean it up.
That is also marriage advice, business advice, and Monday advice.
I woke up this morning, I get out of bed and I'm like, walking to take a piss and I'm like, fuck, I think I'm back.
Like, Johnny, people have so much time on their hands to think of everything to scam somebody, dude.
Scammers wake up early too, so stop using tired as an excuse.
I want to do something that matters, but to sit back and go, okay, I want to try to scam as many people out as possible so I can make a bunch of cash and retire.
But it's okay because then you're going to create this retirement plan where you can stop. After 40 years of giving your fucking time away,
be the man who knows exactly what island he's standing on.
Most guys are on a raft arguing about the map.
The Masters of the Universe movie is coming back in 2026, and there are some that are complaining that it might be a very woke movie, or it might be a return of kind of masculinity.
He-Man discourse is about to turn grown men into philosophy majors.
It doesn't make a difference what you put on the table. There's going to be people that just want to fuck a bitch.
Complaining is the only hobby with zero equipment and infinite followers.
My point is that we're having conversations here that I think bringing people back to maybe some normal kind of conversation. Not woke, not fucking craziness, just some common sense conversation. You know what I mean? Like just common sense, fuck. Like common sense. Like Jesus Murphy.
If Keith says Jesus Murphy, you know the chat is about to ignite.
So we went through an era, John, where we had all these movie theaters that were bought by the old school companies. Now you got Amazon and Netflix going back and owning movie theaters and physical buildings again, right? Just the cycle of life, right? Netflix is opening up entertainment centers and malls, and Amazon is opening up theaters. And you're like, wait a minute, weren't you a digital company?
Everything goes physical again when it is time to take your money in person.
Well, dude, it's the cycle. It's like fucking bell bottoms come back every 20 years too.
Culture is just recycling with better marketing.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. I gotta go fucking shopping and try to find a pair of pants that fits.
Every man has one enemy, and it is denim.
I did not like that shit.
Oh, my dad's like, no, you should wear the Wrangler or the Lee jeans. I'm like, dude, there was that whole conflict too, because dad's like, we can't afford the designer ones. You could have created an entirely second pair of pants, Johnny, from what you had to hem off my pants, because old Nonies would walk into the room. You're like, Billis, where's your knees?
That is a roast from a grandma, and those never miss.
No, they're my cankles. When a crime scene gets released by police, when somebody's brains exploded on the wall, well, they call Sadie Marshall.
This show goes from mindset to nightmare in 0.3 seconds.
He's just...
Well, dude, it's like either sell me your shit for $39 billion, or I'm gonna fucking use all my satellites to crash every fucking Airbus you have.
That escalated so fast, I got whiplash through the screen.
I heard an unsubstantiated rumor. Elon wants to buy WWE from TKO, even though they're a public company, so that he can put it on his network. We know that the banking system is 100 years old.
100-year-old system running your life is insane when you say it out loud.
Archaic,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, remember what they did years ago with gold? They revalued gold. They more than doubled the value and snapped the fucking finger.
Translation, the rules change whenever the adults feel like it.
So it goes for what, $6 a pound, which is fucking huge. It was at like 3 or 4 not too long ago.
Yep.
Then you can go and buy a bullion bar for like, oh Jesus Christ, like I don't know what, like 40 times the fucking value.
People just showing up at the local jewelers with all their metal around their house, like silver and copper and gold, and selling it back to the jewelers, right? So that they can melt it, right?
Nothing is real until people start stripping their own house for cash.
When someone dies alone in their home, Johnny, when a crime scene gets released by police, when someone's mental health spirals into a hoarding situation so severe they can't see the floor.
That is not messy, that is paying with a zip code.
Who are they gonna call? Sadie Marshall.
Well, don't forget about Tuesday about a sexologist who's a stand-up hitman.
We are skipping the details, but the comments section will not.
And a lot of these people don't even tell you they have 2 living rooms, they have 2 kitchens, they have 2 dining rooms.
If your house has 2 kitchens, you are either rich or hiding a villain arc.
It's like, wait a minute, I thought this was just a regular 3-bedroom house with one of everything. So then we were like, all right, let's bring out all these Tyvek suits that I have in my basement, and let's start taking pictures with them, and let's start doing COVID cleanings.
Every crisis creates a new hustle, and half of them are a costume.
I never got COVID cleaning COVID. I got COVID one time because this kid came to work and didn't tell us that his girlfriend wasn't feeling well. I literally got on my hands and knees, and God said, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get out there, and you're going to email all your old clients and tell them you're never going to clean their house again. And you are a crime scene cleaner.
That is God giving career advice like a drill sergeant.
You know, Sadie, I got to say real quick, I think more people need that phone number to God.
If God had a hotline, the first message is, stop negotiating.
I'm not here to judge you.
That is leadership too. Show up calm when somebody is drowning.
You don't have to explain to me how the house got like this. I see this every day. I'm just here to help you. I'm here to take you to the other side. You don't know the plan, I know the plan. And when I come in there and I just talk to them and I reassure them and I let them know, look, we're not here to just bulldoze your house and throw everything out. We're here to carefully sort through all your things and make sure that we're not throwing out all your most precious items and valuables and things like that. I can say, honey, I've got this link right here, and we clean the crap out of that place.
Sadie cleans crime scenes for a living.
those look even worse than some of these double, triple homicides that we've done.
Really?
You know, yeah, they bleed out everywhere and they don't die. But I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. Nothing can affect me. I literally cast demons out of these places by telling them to go back to the fiery pits of hell where they belong, because there's no way I'm going to let them stay up in there and keep affecting other people in the home. I give a lot of hugs, you know, and people are grieving, and it's so sad to see them like that. You know, it just breaks my heart to see people, you know, grieving over their family members. It's so heartbreaking, but like I said, I've been through so much in life that it really prepared me for my life's work.
It's got to be like a huge, like, holy shit, that I just fucking won the lottery here for these people.
She just fell apart, and I couldn't leave her there like that. I could not do it. So I stayed and I rearranged my inspections, and I just talked to her to keep her mind off of it, because it was just so traumatizing. Again, from her husband killing himself and just going through that, to see them coming in the house like that. I would say, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So you got to really cut the noise. You got to cut all of that off like a cancer, literally sever it. You have to work to the bone. If you guys really knew, I'm in my pajama bottoms underneath this shirt because I've gotten maybe 2 hours of sleep for a whole 2 months straight, you know?
You need to surround yourself with the people that drink the same Kool-Aid as you so that you can make it.
Because if you stay stuck on people that are just talking, and there's no action, you're going to be doing the same thing, no action. We come in and we also give emotional support, friendship, accountability. You know, we have an aftercare program for the elderly, the injured, the vulnerable, people with mental health issues. How can I just leave them like that?
Yeah,
How can I?
Hold on. Hold the horses, Anderson. Did you hear what you just said? WWW. I love it. Sadie Marshall dropping the WWW. Sadie Marshall.
And another thing that sets us apart is that we're full concierge biohazard.
This is the only concierge service that ends with landscaping and existential dread.
Some of the things that I just told you, down to landscaping your yard, whatever it is that you need to get the highest resale value possible for your home. Yes, I'm honestly very impressed with your show. That's why I wanted to be on it.
When a guest respects the room levels up.
I did a little small investigation, and
Good.
I thought you guys were really great guys, and you're very, very, the way that you guys have your show is just amazing how you have it. I have a show called Dirty Rotten Cleaners on A&E.
Yeah.
TV network here in America.
Yeah.
So we're on episodes 3, 6, and 8. And we just premiered on a new television show called Crime Scene Cleaners in the United Kingdom on the hottest channel, which is Channel 4 over there. And you do need a VPN in America to watch it, but it's an excellent show. It's really graphic because they can do that kind of stuff over there.
But what I'm getting at is this. Belief is such a powerful thing. And most people have broken promises to themselves so many times, they just don't believe they can do something. Belief is a skill.
Skill means reps, and reps means you stop lying to yourself.
You've got to develop it, and it all starts with you honoring the promises to yourself. Rock and roll.
And then that bigger underlying theme of people doing a lot of work to avoid doing meaningful work. No, the idea came from Maxwell Maltz, a plastic surgeon who noticed that patients needed at least about 21 days to adjust to a new self-image. Observation, not a rule, a habit formation. In other words, the 21-day habit we've been taught and talked about for so long has been a fucking scam.
If 21 days fixed men, gyms would be empty and therapists would be bored.
Habits like the front door to the fucking maze that you have to find your way through to have that behavior pattern become you. When I said people need that phone number for God, what I was trying to really what I was insinuating was the phone number where you call and he says, fucking take the first step and go. Because that's what he said, do it.
Oh yeah, but a miniature bodybuilder. Yeah, I look in the mirror and I feel like I'm building my body. I think you know the key here is that those 21 days that we talk about is a launch pad, not a finish line. Hey John, did you know that if you ejaculate 21 times a month, you will avoid prostate cancer? So a European urology paper analyzed about 32,000 men. So not a small study. 32,000 men over 18 years, Anderson. Compared with Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll finish first. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Compared with 4 to 7 ejaculations a month, reporting 21 or more was associated with lower prostate cancer in adjusted models.
So all we need to do is get our 25K roughly, or call it 20 because we're not living to 100. Whether you're front loaded or back loaded.
Johnny, if we jerk off 20,000 times over our lifetime, we have a 20% lower chance of getting prostate cancer. If you asked your daughter, man or bear, meaning that if she ran into a bear in the woods or a man in the woods, who would she be more fearful of? Now, Jimmy, I know you have a B-roll here. If you got it, let's run it. If not, let's run it while we're chatting. But women said bear. So if they had to face a bear or a man in the woods, they chose bear. Because there's, but Johnny, not could, does. And this is what fucking makes. So number of people killed by black bears in North America since 2000. What do you think the number is?
Oh, very fucking low.
33. Grizzly brown bears, 38. Polar bears, 3. Number of murdered women, almost 4,300.
So the lady put her arm around her, and the guy approaches, says, "Hey, how are you? Can we help you?" And the guy's, "Oh no, just fucking hanging out." You can see the fuck. I was like, Jesus Christ! If I was the fucking person holding that camera, I would have fucking put a whooping on this dude.
Just awareness when you're looking at a woman or communicating with a woman. There's
something fucking there's I think, swear to God, dude, there's something that's like off in some of these people. You see this fucking guy look at a pretty girl, and dude, he couldn't fucking help himself. It's like you could see him fighting his head, pulling it the other way, and it was like some sort of a force that lived inside him.
Because you're safer with the bear. Crazy, man. Crazy.
I didn't have the television to constantly see it promoted, and we didn't have. I mean, we the toys and shit that we got bicycles. We got like physical activity shit. It's
My
fucking
dad was
nice.
the
Get
same way.
outside. That's like the joke. When the fucking the redneck, and I use that term just really fucking like.
I'll say it for you, the redneck. Sure, it's a fucking story, man. Yeah.
When the fucking cop pulls up and finds the fucking redneck bugger in the fucking sheep, he says, "I was just trying to help him over the fence." That's it.
Lauren says to me last week, she's reading this article, some guy gets arrested. She's like, "Keith, what is buggery?" I'm like, "Do you really want to know what buggery is?"
Now I'm fucking curious. Is he a midget or is he Buff and Jack? Or is he a Buff and Jack midget?
So he offered him this Hershey bar, and the Hershey bar was, or a 10-ounce silver bar. Many picked the chocolate. Today, that silver is, let's say, worth $94. That you would have had $940 in real value versus a few dollars of instant gratification. I want the chocolate bar. Today, they're like, man, I wish I would have grabbed that silver bar because that would be worth much more than this fat ass I have because I've been eating chocolate for 10 years.
Well, we actually have a fucking dock being built, a new dock being built.
Yeah.
And I want to try to get the guy paid before we leave, but he's running late. So I don't know. That is good, brother. Well, dude, you know who would be a great addition to the show is our guest Sadie, because she's already got some press she could use, because those TV shows won't last forever.
Tomorrow, we got a guy named Greg Scheinman joining the show. Greg has an interesting story, I think. And then, of course, we got the man himself, John Petrocelli, joining you and I tomorrow for some bullshit or no bullshit tomorrow. I got a monologue about what does leadership look like to you. Fun connection with the Gene story is that He-Man was a role model for physique that helped some of us fat kids not be fat. It's actually a scam. No, you're not going to get any habits done in 21 days. No, you're going to get habits done for the rest of your life. True story. Leadership looks like making the call when the data is incomplete and the consequences are real, when you don't have the answers. Most of us hide behind the desk. Most of us hide behind the committee, hiding behind the excuses that sounds responsible, but is actually just fear dressed up in khakis. Being a leader means you don't get to outsource the emotional weight of the moment. That leadership, that real leadership, well, it starts the moment that you stop living inside the story that other people are handing to you. Leadership is the willingness to carry uncertainty longer than anybody else. Think about that. Let me say it again. Leadership is the willingness to carry uncertainty longer than everyone else. Because when you're creating something that has been created before, you need to accept the willingness of uncertainty longer than everyone else. Leadership looks like walking away from what feeds your ego. And that time in my life, all that social media stuff was feeding the ego of Keith, building what feeds my soul. Leadership is truth when lying would be easier. Leadership is a decision when everyone wants another meeting. I had it this week. Keith, can we meet again? No, let's fucking make a decision and move. Leadership is lonely because you don't get to be everyone's favorite. You don't get to avoid the conflict. You don't get to keep everyone's relationship intact if you insist on always telling the truth. If you vanished for a week, and I love this one, go into your office, go into your lab and ask yourself, if that person wasn't here anymore, would anything move forward? Women would rather feel more safety and trust around a bear instead of a man. Think about that for a second. No, you do not need a 4 a.m. ice bath cult initiation to build it. He shares science instead and says that pushing effort to roughly 80% is where meaningful brain adaptation happens. So do you want to be the blue fish like the leader or the silver fish like everybody else? That blue fish takes the one more step. That blue fish takes the one more minute. That blue fish takes one more rep. We learned today, if we ejaculate 3 times a day, we have a 21% chance living longer than somebody who doesn't. True story. We talked about the Masters of the Universe trailer dropping and that big movie coming out this summer. And people are asking themselves, is it going to be woke bullshit or is it going to be a brand new take on masculinity? From there, we broke down the 21-day lie.
If you quit at day 22, you were not broken, you were early. See you tomorrow. You ever feel like everyone around you got a confidence manual? I missed that meeting.
That's called imposter syndrome, or my personality. Either way, we're dealing with it. We're flipping imposter syndrome on its head and calling BS today.
Only on Mornings in the Lab. Welcome to the big show.
Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where accountability partner here to help you start your day. Silence makes our monsters grow stronger.
I love what this whole segment is them talking to me about this.
How to compromise without losing your balls.
Everybody's trying to win. Nobody's trying to solve.
Live beats perfect every time.
Reset is a decision, not a calendar date. Don't chase details, chase the lesson.
You know, most of us don't wake up thinking to ourselves, nah. I'm looking in my own mirror and going, oh, am I an imposter? Hey, Grok, we were talking earlier. Do you have any questions for Jimmy this morning?
Oh, what did we talk about?
Grok, come on, Grok. You know we were talking. Grok, what the heck? Hey, guys. Yeah, clearly Grok wasn't paying attention. Jimmy, I had a question for you from Grok, but Grok forgot it. That just shows you how smart today's AI is. Hey, guys, so we wake up in the morning, we look in the mirror ourselves and go, oh, I feel like an imposter today. And why does everyone else look so sure of themselves, yet you look at yourself going, I feel like I'm an imposter? Wow, hey, coming up, we're going to talk about it. That's the quiet pressure, the private spiral, the part you don't say out loud because you're supposed to be I'm the steady one. I'm the leader. I'm the leader. Today, we're going to talk about why you're not an imposter. And we're also going to talk cognitive bias and why you might just be bad at BS. Yeah, but first, with the drum roll, please, quick welcome back to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and Friends, your live morning show where we help you get your ass out of bed with entertaining conversations, real talk, and some positive energy. My co-host Grok was here. Jimmy, she had a question for you out of the blue. She's like, hey, is Jimmy practicing life expectancy work? He says, I don't know. I said, I'm solo this week, so yeah, there's some solo activity happening. But hey, listen, guys, quick housekeeping. Like, subscribe, and comment. This is a live experience. We launched a brand new show yesterday with Jason Hewlett, and he says, like, oh my God, that's tough doing live stuff. I'm like, dude, you're a live comedian. You go in front of thousands of people all the time. He's like, that was nerve-wracking for me. Yes, we are a live show. We want to hear from you. Come say hi in the comments. We got Holroyd out there. We got Melissa out there. We got Good Time out there. And I know we got Jimmy out there as well, practicing left hand, right hand, switch header. Yes, plus your engagement helps us grow this thing. So if you're not engaging, we're not growing 10,000 plus hours. Getting up and getting after it on the Mornings in the Lab live network. True story nation. This is an R-rated experience, which means if the kids are in the room, they're either going to learn something new or you can put the headphones on and listen. Don't hit the snooze button or you're 9 minutes behind the guy who hasn't. Today we are now officially about 100. No, we're approaching 200 and some odd minutes behind me. Yeah, true story. Hey, coming up today, current conversation, some trending topics. Yes, Paris Hilton. We're talking Paris Hilton to Congress. The pivot every man needs to learn. Is it time to grow up, man? She is. Maybe it's time for us to grow up. We teased this one yesterday, but didn't get into it. YouTube's about to let some creators use AI versions of themselves. The Rock was snubbed yesterday at the Oscars. We're going to throw that one on the screen as well. Jimmy, make sure we have that one prepared, my friend. We need to get that morning short ready for that one. Silver is on absolutely a tear, and there's a major AI controversy blowing up right now after millions of sexualized images were generated in days. And it's already triggering investigations and bans worldwide. New research is shaking up the no-shit Sherlock department with one workout method. I did it this morning. Yeah. That helps older men lose some fat without sacrificing muscle. Center stage today, this is going to be a fun one. From alcoholic to athlete. Yes, Greg Scheinman joining us this morning. Perfect man did not do perfect things. How a 53-year-old built a $7 million business twice in why midlife isn't a crisis. No, it's resilience, rebuild, and proof that the middle years can be a launch pad, not a slow fade. If you've ever looked at the calendar and felt that quiet panic, like, it's all here. Stay with us for that segment. Greg Scheinman coming up with Sophia Grant, bottom of the first hour this morning. Deep dive, John Petrocelli is joining us for the BS No BS department today. Always love John every Friday. Good morning, good time. Good to see you out there. We're talking imposter syndrome, and we're going to talk about cognitive bias on the show here today. That's going to be the big conversation today, which is going to be about cognitive bias. So we'll make sure my team is ready for that one. And the biggest, guys, everybody's talking about shutting down borders and limiting immigration. I got something to throw on the table. Yeah. The biggest migration ever is happening, and y'all don't even know about it. I'm throwing it on the table, coming up in the morning focus. We're going to close it up, the community corner, breaking free from limitations and lifting heavy things through grief. So grab that coffee, settle in. Yes, settle in, because you know what happens next. Or do you? Or don't you? Maybe you do. Hey, Grok, do you know what happens next? I do. It goes like this. The morning loop starts right now.
Nation, bad news. Our emotionally evolved brothers are too famous now, right? They're basically endangered.
Google flagged them as prominent people. Meanwhile, I'm standing here
prominent as hell, ignored. We appealed it. I used my serious voice. It didn't work. I'm still using it.
Yeah, I can tell.
I know, right? We're offended. The audacity, Josh. They're the famous ones, but we're the problem?
So today it's just us. I'll carry the wisdom. Frankie will carry the chaos.
Either way, you're stuck with us today.
True story.
Welcome to the show, nation. Let's go.
All right, we got our guys there, Frankie and Tommy. Yes, getting after it. They just do their job here, don't they? If you guys don't know who Frankie and Tommy are, they joined the lab a few months ago. They are our adventurous duo, teeing things up, moving conversations forward, challenging the status quo, and just bringing some overall humor to the show. Hey, you guys can join the show. Speaking of, you guys can join the. Hey, Kai, just a heads up, we got no CTAs in here today, so just a little call out to my team. Great job on the stories. We want to get a little tighter on our CTAs, guys. You guys can join the show with us live right now. 431-300-3005. If you're bad at bullshit, come join us. 431-300-3005. If you got nothing to say live, come send me a voicemail or come send me a text. Some of you like to send those text messages, and of course, Brianna Bass joining us every second Tuesday. And some of you are uncomfortable having live conversations or putting your name attached to it. So you can send me a text, 431-300-3005. We'll get you into the conversation here. Or, of course, the Mornings in the Lab community is live and open with Melissa out there in the comments, and Adam Holroyd's out there, and Good Time is out there, Mike Sullivan's out there, and I know John Patricelli's out there as well. Hey, guys, I got something coming up at the bottom of the show because I am going to ruin your comfort for later in the show. You know how every few years the world has this brand new panic headline? And just every few years, panic coming, panic. Immigration, changing everything. We got to stop immigration. Borders, jobs, identity, the whole thing. It's like every day you look to the corner, there's always a brand new kind of this panic headline. Panic, 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 panic. Cool. Now, hey, imagine the next migration wave. Think about this one. I got something. Hey, Good Time, ears up on this one. Think about the next migration wave. And it's not humans. Nobody's talking about it except the handsome chief. It's AI. Oh, what? Did he say AI? Yeah, true story. Hundreds of millions of digital people showing up over the next decade. Think about this. Mostly built in the US and China. And that doesn't matter where they're built, but just think about it. We're shutting off the borders to real humans. But yet, the borders are wide open for digital agents. And here's the part that's both hilarious and terrifying. It's actually true. Think about this, guys. Good Time. Think about this one. We make humans fill out the forms, get to the airport, get off the airplane, form. Wait years, prove they're real. Yeah, can I get a license, picture of your license? Can I get a picture of your passport? Hey, Neiman, it's I got to prove you're real. We take pictures, we the forms, we wait for years, we mail it in, we prove they're real, we prove they're safe, we prove they belong. Yet there's some dude right now sitting in Russia, China, wherever he's sitting, making an AI agent, just crawling the world, just showing up at the border, just ending up in Greenland, just ending up in ice, just ending up in Canada, just ending up in any sovereign nation, just wandering around as a digital soul. Think about that. It just shows up hey, I'm your new doctor. Yeah, I was trained on the internet. I was trained over some other digital country, but nobody stopped me at the border. Oh, I don't have a name. No, I'm untraceable. Yeah. And I was trained on the entire internet, even though you won't let me into your country because I'm not a human. But I'm telling you, we're going to talk about it in the bottom of the second hour. It's actually a pretty crazy stuff. It sounds legit, but welcome to the healthcare system. And it won't just be doctors, teachers, therapists, advisors, customer support, media voices, influencers, which is awesome. Until you remember, listen to this, guys, and you're right, Good Time. Nobody just, I'm just out here behind my microphone telling the world about it. Until you remember that migration always that are migrating, Good Time, they don't sleep, don't eat, don't unionize, don't get tired, and they can copy themselves in less than 3 seconds. So later in the show, we're going to get into a full monologue on this because I generally think that nobody has any clue what's coming. And I got some massive meetings today, so this is really kind of precinct for me to talk about it because I talked to folks, and I know I was talking with Melissa about this earlier. I know I take much this for granted because I just live in this. But folks, I invite you to think about what you're not thinking about right now. Shut the borders down, but let's let the digital person in. And the crazy and the scary part isn't that they're coming. No. The scary part, border's already open. So yeah. Oh, there's my Russian agent. There's the Chinese agent. Oh, there's the American agent. Oh, there's the Canadian agent. So yeah, that's coming later. You're welcome. True story. All right, coming up on the show. Oh yeah, coming up on the show, we got a bunch of big things. We're going to start it off with Jimmy. Let's start with the morning short here this morning before Anderson gets in here. I got him. Hold the horses. We got the morning text from Anderson, Jimmy. I'm suspecting he might be trying to log in, brother. Okay, trying to log in right now, brother. So I'm suspecting that he's Jimmy. Did you change the login? Did we lock him out of the back end or something? We'll see what he's we'll see Johnny Anderson's I know he's gonna bring himself in this morning. Someone locked John out. Yes, John Anderson's joining us here in a few moments. We got Greg Scheinman joining us this morning at the bottom of the hour. Looking forward to that conversation. Jimmy, let's get into the morning short. Let's do from the morning short. So guys, the Oscars were launched yesterday. The Oscar nominations were launched yesterday. And Sterling and Frankie, Tommy, you guys had something to say. We dropped a little piece last night. What happened to The Rock?
The Oscars just snubbed The Rock. And honestly, it's the most important lesson you'll learn this year. Dwayne Johnson did everything right. He stripped down, did the gritty A24 movie, The Smashing Machine, changed his face, and poured his soul into real art.
The Academy nominated the makeup that covered his face, but they ignored the man underneath.
As men, we think if we just work harder or change our brand, the world will finally give us that gold star. But sometimes you do the work of your
life, and the world still says, stay in your lane. If your self-worth is tied to a nomination, a promotion, or thank you, you are a slave to other people's opinions.
The Rock didn't fail today. The system just did what the
System does. Stop waiting for the Oscar. The work is the trophy.
Share this if you've ever been snubbed and kept going.
So I got to think the guy woke up yesterday disappointed that he got snubbed. I know. So I don't know Dwayne or Rock, obviously. I just pay attention from afar. I think why this matters is, men build identities around results. And I'm going to make some suspicions here that, this idea of building identities, changing his identity for this role, right? I'm suspecting that he did this to, work towards ideally winning or being nominated for an Oscar. Unfortunately, you got a snub. Now, snub isn't injustice. It maybe just is expectation failure. I see Johnny joining us there in the lab. And that snub means that the outcome didn't match what people predicted. So yeah, I'm going to sit back and watch this movie this weekend. My lovely bride's out of town this weekend, so I'm going to sit back and watch a little bit of Rock and then I'll offer my opinion if the snub was deserved. But I see him there, Jimmy. I see the man patiently waiting to get into the lab. What's his name? His name is John Anderson. Buddy. How are you, pal? Oh, you're muted. No, you're muted. There you go.
Better?
There you go. How are you, pal?
Better?
Yeah.
I was just having a little bit of an issue getting in this morning as we're trying to get our Wi-Fi fixed. So we got Wi-Fi in, but now all of a sudden it's like the fucking thing keeps wanting to go to the neighbors, and the neighbors won't support this. So anyway, yeah, it's these things are almost too smart. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I've been going over there the last 5 or however many days, 10 days.
Good to see you, man. How you feeling today? I know you had a lot of energy yesterday. I can see the energy emanating from you today. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm feeling much better. I'm a little. I'm probably not quite like I was yesterday, only because I had a pretty deep session of life expectancy last night. So,
nice. Well done. Well, you can work for both.
I got to sleep way on time. We got to sleep way on time. It was just I trained legs, which was nice. Yeah. And then usually I don't couple legs and life expectancy in the same day.
Yeah, I know.
Because that's a lot.
Yes, it is a lot.
And funny enough, we actually, Terry and I tested, so we've been actually testing some different peptides for life expectancy.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So we've been playing with two of them actually lately. So over the last probably month, it's been one called PT-141.
Okay.
And what that does is it basically kind of like massages or stimulates, a better word, the arousal center in the brain.
Okay. For both men and women? For both men and women?
Yeah. Yeah, because
okay.
it's a system that's alike enough. Yes, it works for both. And then there was this other one last. So that one's more of just like it's, to put bluntly, that would just be like, like when you're a kid and you watch some, 13 and you watch some pretty lady go by. That's that part of your brain that just, what was that? You know what I mean? It's like that's the mechanism.
Well, yeah, that was the Eaton's catalog for me when I would open it up.
There we go. That's right. Yeah. So anyway, yesterday we introduced another one.
Yeah.
Which is actually it's called oxytocin, which is really it's like the one that it creates bonding between two people.
Yeah, well, so we have natural producing oxytocin in our body. So what you're saying is there's
all this stuff is we have it all in there. I'm just telling the body, let's do this a little better.
Oh, so you actually add like a oxytocin peptide.
Yeah. So you're basically what you're doing is you're saying, hey, let you normally release this, but you're doing the job like you're fucking 54. Do this like you were 24.
Oh, I'm intrigued. We're going to talk more peptides. Johnny launched his brand new peptide. Well, he's launching. I saw some behind the scenes stuff yesterday, so I want to get more of that up in the calendar next week. Hey, John, as you were getting in here, I know we both don't know the man, but we watch the work he's done from afar, and this is not about idolization at all. You know me well enough. This is not about idolization. I'm just talking about a topic. So yesterday, the Dwayne the Rock, we know he did that big movie with what the guy's what's his name again? Oh shit, Mark.
Smashing Machine.
He got snubbed for the Oscar yesterday. So I'm reframing it as kind of like this, you put a lot of work in, you have an expectation. Do you think Mark Kerr, yeah. John, do you think a guy like that, like Dwayne Johnson, who puts all that work in, he's trying, and I'm just Dwayne, John Anderson, Keith Billis, like, what do you think is going through a guy's head like that after he gets quote unquote snubbed for something he worked so hard to get? Or do you think he's literally, okay, it didn't happen to go to my next one? Like, what do you think the mindset of a guy like that? What's that?
Define snub. I don't know the best.
Oh yeah, so just got basically did not get nominated for like the award, like the Academy Award. Like he basically was ignored. So they said, you're good, but we're not going to nominate you. You weren't good enough for this performance. Like we didn't think your performance was good enough to be recognized. That's a better way to put it.
Well, the movie didn't do very well, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, and then exactly.
Well, that's a pretty big basis for the award, isn't it?
I think so, but this was about the actor itself, and they're basically saying that you weren't good enough, right? So does it relate to actually? Here's a question. We talked about this yesterday. We know the business of making money, and you said yesterday that sometimes you go through your career where somebody has to tell you that, Mister, maybe the mantle has to be passed over. We were talking about Goldberg. Like, do you think a guy like Dwayne Johnson, John, is like, is he pissed off or is he motivated to try it again? Like, what do you think a man in that kind of status is how does he accept this?
Well, I think a man in that status that's gotten where he's gotten realizes that, yes, this is about the actor.
Yes.
But is it really?
Well, it's
not a running race, dude. It's like we don't get to rewind and look in slow motion who was first, second, and third.
Yes,
this is a whole bunch of opinions.
That's what I figured you were gonna say, right? Which is at some point we accept that it's completely out of your control. It's actually completely out of your control.
You don't get to where he is fucking bitching about shit you can't fucking control. I mean, if he had a whiff, it was probably over before you even fucking saw it show up.
Yeah, so it's actually, John, as I'm talking aloud with you, and I'm putting this out there because there's a lesson for all of us men, regardless if you're trying to get out of the stands onto the stage or trying to get over a hump as you're getting into New Year's right now. It's the lesson is that perhaps acknowledge the feeling, acknowledge what you can and cannot control, and then keep moving. That's really what it is, isn't it? Like because you can't control it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things to where how many times when he first left wrestling, his fucking acting career almost he almost didn't make it. He was a fucking serious nosedive.
Yeah.
So a guy like that understands that you're going to fail, or whatever you want to call this. You're going to fall down hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yes.
And you don't fucking cry because it happened again.
Bingo. Well, I'll tell you what else happened. So moving on from Dwayne Johnson to, and I never thought we'd be talking about this person on the show, but there's another good metaphor with this one, which is, growing up, pivoting, moving to the next stage. You've been talking yourself about going to kind of the next chapter in your life. Well, again, didn't think we'd be talking. This is not a gossipy one. This is a, the pivot every man needs to learn. It's trending right now. Sterling Preston, what's going on with Paris Hilton in Congress?
In Congress?
Yeah.
She's in Congress?
Jimmy, you got a clip there? I see it checked off there, Jimmy. No clip. So most people, so she's been in Congress. Hey, Jimmy, you got me there?
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I see a clip there, Jim. No? Okay. So guys, let's make sure that we're not off to a good start here, team. So let's get organized. So most people think pivots are about money or relevance, but today we're breaking down a pivot that was about responsibility. And she's looking past what's happened in the past and she's moving forward. It's redefining leadership. So here's what happened yesterday. She testified before the House, sharing firsthand experience of abuse in youth, and she's trying to get some of the Digital Safety Act changed, just regarding digital images and so forth. So she's really about reinventing herself right now.
Well, you figure, like, what did you say? Sometimes they're about money, or what did you say? The pivots are about money or about status, I think you said.
Yes.
Which those boxes for her are checked already.
Yes,
so she's on to a different box to check.
100%. Yeah.
So a lot of times you find where people get to a certain point and they want to make a difference. It sounds like that's where she might be.
That's exactly. Yeah, exactly. So let's move on. So as you know, Grok, we got Grok out there. So Jimmy, I'm seeing check marks on everything. Do we have openers, Jimmy, or no openers?
Hold on real quick. I love it. Let me just take a deep breath real quick. Jimmy, I'll give you a few seconds. Get your shit together while I'd calm him down. I was like, I could tell he's not fucking pleased right now. And you're fucking ready to start changing the subject and then went for Jimmy's head again. Well, okay, Jim, you got about another 15 seconds to get your buttons correct because I'm all going to hold it back for so much longer.
Let's so here's the thing, right? And I talk about it all the time. We have 20 chances to get it right every month, and it's really important to me that we get it right. We do this is what we do for a living. So hey, listen, so Grok, dude, in the last couple of weeks, last 9 days, Grok, who we love on the show, 4.5 million sexualized images of women. Just making images of women all over the internet, just making them. So and I'm joking, but all of our daughters are being sexualized by Grok up there. And they're talking, Johnny, up to 65% are actually maybe minors. It's crazy, dude. It's actually crazy. But, and I'm not saying anything to accept this. Jimmy, there's no clip here to run. We're already past it. There's nothing to say to accept it. It's just that it's clear that we're moving.
Jimmy heard the naked woman clip. He's like, I know where that one is.
What I'm suspecting is happening though again is that society is moving to a new level of acceptance. I don't like it, but it's just this whole idea of, okay, well, I guess that's just the digital sloppy world we're going to live in, is that this can happen, that can happen. It's gross, man. It's gross. But listen, it's just resetting the laws, right? John, it's no different than 20 years ago when we all got these phones and people were like, hey, I can have cameras and everything. We had to reset societal expectations. Remember that? Resetting societal expectations.
I think we have to remind ourselves, and you and I have been through it.
Yeah.
You work so hard to create all this good, thinking that it's just going to be only good. Well, this is your left hand. So you fucking look to your right hand and like, oh fuck, the bat. They move close.
Yes,
good and bad are never just completely separate themselves.
Yes,
It's what degree of good and bad. So yes, Grok's brought all this amazing shit. Well, fucking guarantees going to bring a bunch of not amazing shit. That's the way it works.
Exactly correct. Good morning, Cricket Outdoors. Do y'all know the Lord? Yeah. The Lord John and the Lord Keith. You got them right now. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. We're here every single day. Lord John and Lord Keith. We get up live every single morning here on the Mornings in the Lab live network. Hey, Johnny, in the no shit Sherlock department. I always love this ones, man, because we like to giggle at this one. But in the no shit Sherlock department, I got a workout that cuts fat and protects muscle after 60. Some new research is talking about it. And if we have that opener, let's run this opener, Jimmy.
After 60, fat loss is easy. Keeping muscle is hard. Most plans burn both, then call it progress.
HIT might be the cheat code. Same fat loss, less muscle loss. That matters if you like strength.
But don't sprint into a bad idea. We'll tell you who should do it and who shouldn't.
So apparently HIT, they're saying HIT for if you're over 60, John, might be the most effective exercise strategy for older adults. So we're going to tell everybody to go break their hips right now.
You're saying high intensity interval training?
Yes.
Well, you know, it doesn't have to be. Everybody has a real kind of a screw up misconception of what that could be.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Thank you. Yes.
I mean, a set of fucking 20 squats with, you know, one plate on each side would be a hit.
Yes.
You know,
so
you don't
I'm
have to
glad
be,
you put.
I'm
I'm glad
glad
you
fucking jumping off of 6 foot fucking blocks and shit. It's not a bunch of plyos that are highly. It's just a misunderstanding of what it is.
But I mean, here's what I wonder though. Hold on. Here's what I wonder though. I wonder if we, as we age though, John, we think to ourselves that when we hear HIT, we kind of go back to being 20 or 30. So we think that it's big plyo boxes and isometric jumps, but yet you're going, wait a minute, no, you're now 60, brother. You don't have to do that. You could just do those 20 squats or the 20 burpees and it's good enough for you. It's redefining our brain, I think.
100%. I mean, either A, lack of knowledge, or B,
yes.
That brain that just is like, oh, well, I'm too old for that.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's exactly it.
But I would say, I mean, I would say that it is, I would have to agree. Like, as I get older, I find myself the last fucking thing that I wanted, like in sort of a non-weightlifting scenario, it's going to be some nature of a hit, you know, like, yesterday, but Terry and my workout, we actually decided to work out together outside, and we did a series of bodyweight squat lunges. So doing a set of squats, set of lunges, set of squats. At the end of that, fucking butt cheeks, legs are on fire, fucking breathing up a storm. Catch my breath.
Yes.
Do it again.
Yes.
That's a hit.
Yeah, 100%.
My legs are sore as hell. And it whooped my ass yesterday.
Yeah. Hey,
so I think the lack of knowledge would be a big part of it. People just
that's why I put it out there. So you know, I like to preface like the no shit Sherlock department, but I knew you were gonna. So I figured you were gonna redefine it as get up and do 20 burpees. Like I figured for Syria, like same thing, right? And Petrotelli was talking. He gets up, does his whatever 20, 25 burpees, and off you go, right? So.
You, like you said, reframing the brain. You know, people think, I don't know, like people, clients will be like business people. Well, I don't have time at lunch to do cardio. How long do you have a cardio? An hour. Well, fucking go outside and go for a walk. Well, the gym's 40 minutes away. We don't have to go to the fucking gym to do cardio. Go for a fucking walk. And they're like, oh my God, I never thought about that.
You know, so I'll tell you something I've been doing a lot recently, actually, and I'm just making it because I live on top of a gym. Like I joke about it. I have a gym and I got a house on top of it. So, dude, I just been getting myself up my desk here throughout the day for like 5 minute, 10 minute, like these little bites. I'll come downstairs, I'll touch my toes for 5 minutes, or I'll do a pull up for 5 minutes, or I'll do some push ups, or I'll go for a walk. And then what I find by the end of the day, John, I got like all these little 5 minute, 10 minute accumulative little chunks because truthfully, like when I get into a heads down workflow, maybe like yourself, I get kind of sedentary, right? Whether it's horizontal or vertical, I get sedentary. And I keep my shoes on and dude, throughout the day, and you never even know that 5 minutes goes by, man. Honest to God. Like 5 minutes is such a fart in the wind for all of us. Like you go there and touch your toes. You waste 5 minutes talking to somebody wasting time about something. You know what I'm trying to say? Like next thing you know, you do it 5 times, you've accumulated 25 minutes of work that you didn't even know you did.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is these little bits of exercise, they represent more of how we were, I guess, designed to be.
You think about it, yeah. You think about it, right? I'm sitting in the, we're sitting at camp. You're washing dishes. I'm out there hunting, and you're.
And then when you come back with a salamander for the third time, I tell you, okay, well, are you ready to fucking take the broom? I know you're hungry, you fat fucker.
Hey, YouTube says creators will soon be able to make shorts featuring AI. Sterling Preston, what the hell is this all about?
YouTube's like, good news, you can make shorts without filming. Congrats, your AI twin just clocked in for you.
Indeed. Yeah, and your AI twin has zero shame. It'll post daily, smile harder than you, and never once ask for a mental health day. They swear it's a tool, not a replacement. That's exactly what every replacement says right before it replaces you.
Coming up, we got it from an alcoholic to athlete, how a 53-year-old man built a $7 million business twice, and why midlife isn't the crisis. Greg Scheinman joining us in a few minutes here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. So, Johnny, we saw it with Sora, but now YouTube is offering AI likenesses. So, again, I keep saying we do this live show to keep building trust, but over time, I can see you and Ben sitting down and creating some more likenesses of yourself to keep promoting your business and keep promoting yourself as a creator. It's inevitable, pal. It's absolutely inevitable. And to those that aren't leaning in are missing out, completely missing out.
Yeah, I mean, it's some of the stuff that's coming. Just looking at that, just looking at the thing generating stuff. It's like, fuck, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, and Neil Mohan says, who's the CEO of YouTube, and YouTube's going really in, their next phase, right? Like they're rebranding, they're coming back out, their next phase of growth, and he's talking about like this isn't about a tool for a replacement, it's really a tool for expression, and I think that's what we do so well here on the show. We have we have recreation of you, me, and our characters, and it's not replacing anybody, it's just enhancing and expressing how we create content here on the show. So. All right, listen, guys, let's get after it here. We got Greg Scheinman patiently waiting for us. Sophia Grant, I think it's time to get into center stage. Let's do it. Sophia Grant, center stage, Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends.
Somewhere in midlife, you realize the goal was never success. You can be respected, paid, and dependable, and still feel like your life is running you, not the other way around. The scariest part is how normal that feeling becomes. You stop calling it pain. You start calling it Tuesday. Greg built Midlife Mail for that exact moment. The moment a capable man notices he's slowly disappearing. Not because he had it figured out, because he didn't. And pretending otherwise was no longer an option. His life has swung between extremes. Major wins, tragic loss, depression, alcohol, anxiety, and the long work of pulling himself back together. Along the way, he built, exited, and rebuilt businesses across very different worlds. Each chapter tested what actually holds up under pressure. Today, he challenges the lie that midlife means decline, or that conformity and complacency are just what growing up looks like. If you're a man between 40 and 60 who looks successful but feels restless, disconnected, or underutilized, this conversation is for you. Greg believes midlife is where strength, health, wealth, purpose, and joy should finally align, not quietly fall apart. He doesn't sell escape fantasies. He talks about designing a life you actually want to stay present for. Greg, welcome to the big show. We're truly grateful to sit down with you today.
What do you do when a boss of one of the most powerful and dangerous men in Hollywood shows up? Well, I lost my hook here. Let's bring him in. Greg Scheinman coming in here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends.
I love it. Dude, listen, this is fucking great though, dude. You're holding down the fort when things are not fucking going the way you want it to. You know
it's true. What's going on, Greg? How are you, pal?
Good morning, guys. I wasn't sure whether that was the first question or not. I was just watching, I was entranced by that video. It's like, wow.
You met Sophia Grant. Welcome to Center Stage. Where are you joining us from today, pal?
I am in Houston, Texas, 7:35 in the morning.
Right yeah, now. Congratulations for getting your ass out of bed, brother. Should we give you a medal for that, or is that your normal time? I'm having some fun with you, but is that?
No, yeah. So I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning wherever I am.
Yeah, how come so late?
Exactly, because I'm 53. Some of that hustle and grind is a little old.
Johnny, when I reached out to Greg to invite him to the show, he was like, I could tell he was skeptical. I was like, what's this thing with this Keith and John thing? And I'm like, dude, just come check us out, have some fun. And then I saw your responses like, yeah, I want to be a piece of that. So Greg, I was excited to have you on the show here because all three of us are the same age. I like how you frame out that you went through not a midlife crisis.
You know,
and Greg, before you get started, I just want to give you a quick heads up. He's normally not this feisty, so if he's a little punchy today, it's just the day. Not you.
Look, hey, let's get this day started. I got a full day. I was supposed to be on the road today, actually, and we got this deep freeze and everything coming in, and stuff just locks down here. So now this has gotten me up. Now I booked a full day, so I'm excited to be with you guys. Thanks so much, John. Keith, this is awesome.
Awesome.
Absolutely, brother.
Mr. Dragon VR joining us in the comments this morning. Good to see you out there, Mr. Dragon VR. Good to have you here joining myself, Greg Scheinman, and John Anderson. And Greg's joining us from Houston today. So, Greg, tell us a little bit about this midlife crisis thing. You started a couple companies, you exited them, and you went through a journey in life, but you didn't call it a midlife crisis.
Yeah, I think the midlife crisis is a bit of a misnomer. I also don't think that it is, I don't think it's age specific or dependent. I know I say this a lot. I know a lot of really old 30-somethings. I know a lot of really young 60-somethings. I think it's a mindset. I think it's the way that you approach your life. And I think, as guys, we all hit these tipping points or these kind of, gut check moments in our life where we have some real decisions to make, where we got to look ourselves in the mirror and decide whether we like the guy looking back at us. I don't see that as a crisis. I see it as an opportunity.
Interesting. Yeah. We talk about it all the time, but looking in your own mirror. Greg, I don't think enough of us men do we?
No, I think it's easier to walk right by it, seriously. and ignore it and kind of hide from it or bury it. And what happens with a lot of guys, and it happened for me, you follow the path. You get up and you go to school and then you graduate and then you're supposed to get a job and then you're supposed to get married and then you have children.
So true. We're programmed with this shit, aren't we?
This is the path to success, if you will, and it's bullshit. It's not a linear path. It's not.
Brother, we're programmed with this shit, aren't we? This is the way that we believe this is the way it's supposed to go.
Yes. And that's what the masses, because we're all programmed to mass. And you get that herd mentality and you get guys that follow this path. And then 5, 10, 15 years later, they look up and they go, what? Like,
what the fuck happened to my life?
Right.
What all the shit I wanted to do? What happened to that?
Exactly.
Well, and John, get this.
Programmed, like you said, John, to be husbands, fathers, providers, men. And then, wait, everyone's coming to me. Everyone's go for and like, what happened to me? During this.
And here's the thing. I have zero problem. You're so correct. Totally agreeing. Zero problem with the program being a good father and provider. But let me fucking do it with something I want to do every day. And I'll be just fine.
Well, you're touching on something I think that's hugely important here. It's that, self-care is not selfish. That, we give so much of ourselves to be those roles and take on that responsibility, which becomes also heavier as it becomes obligation, and all in there, and you start to feel that, and some resentment can build up because you're not taking care of yourself at the same time. And I believe that self-care is not selfish. It's one of the most selfless things that you can do so that you can show up for the things that you talked about, John, which is what I want to do. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better husband. My father passed away when he was 47. Yeah. That's when I turned 47. That's when this really hit me like, hey, I could squander these years, or I could pour some rocket fuel on them and make this next phase the best phase of my life, not just for me, but for everybody in my life. And now ultimately tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of other men throughout the country that are reading my material, the book that we're working with from a coaching standpoint, events and experiences, and go, hey, this is a powerful shift in how we see and define and design midlife.
And I think along with our programming, there's kind of there's a bit of a standard that goes along with that programming. And that standard is far too low. And, my middle daughter actually just got a massive new position with a new company. And she was just saying, Dad, thank you. And she said, it all comes down to the standards that you set for me as a kid. And I was like, fucking A, thank God, because you always wonder, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? But her standards was not to fall into that programming, was to do what she wants to do and chase her stuff. And it's like, right, this is such a great topic because so many people, they don't realize it until it's too fucking late. Just like you said, 15 years goes by. Oh my God. So this is good
here's
shit.
The other thing on that too. 10, 15, whatever the number of years that goes by, here it is. And you know this too. Like, it's never too late to start over. It's never too late to reset the standard. You know, the standards come from the actions you take and the choices you make. And I have a very simple kind of philosophy on this. You make the better choice in life the majority of the time, the majority of your life is going to get better. It's really that simple. And we know the answers. We know whether we should, you know, go through the drive-through and fly, you know, shove fattening foods down our pie hole, or meal prep or have a healthier meal. We know that we can swap a soda for water. We know that we can kiss our wife good morning instead of rolling out of bed and taking her for granted because we've been married for so long. We know the answers to the basic blocking and tackling. Should we sleep in or go to the gym? The hard part is doing it. And as you said, setting that standard and having the discipline to maintain that standard, whether you want to do it or not.
Well, and then we get surrounded by, as you call it, the pack. I think you called it the pack. And the pack standard is this way. Well, why are you getting up so early to go to the gym on a Saturday morning? All of a sudden you're an out fucking cast. Like I would make the fucking joke. I choose to go to bed on time. I eat well and I exercise regularly. I'm extreme. Okay, well, I guess I'm extreme.
Well, I'll say this too. Like, my friends weren't like that for a while. The who I was associating with for a large portion of my life, and not good or bad guys, just a different crowd in a way. It was exactly that. It was more, let's go out drinking, let's stay out later, let's sleep in the morning. You know, like the choices were different. Yeah, and it's very difficult. I mean, I think men are fearful for breaking from that pack, breaking from what you know and what's comfortable. That, hey, you know, I don't really want to play poker and drink all night, or I don't really want to do 27 holes of golf, or I don't want to be the first one in and the last one out of my office, or I don't want to drink. But these are my people. Like, this is who I've been with for so long. It's who I work with, who my friends are, who my business clients are. And they go, it's too far of a leap, it seems to them, to get to that other side. You know, and one of the things I talk about a lot is how to kind of shorten that gap, you know, kind of close that gap to what I call mastering the middle. You know, you don't have to go from fat, drunk, and sedentary to ridiculously jacked like you, John. Like, it's like there's a lot of white space in between.
Yeah, I'm the white space in between.
We'll just say there's different levels of experience. You know, there's like nothing, and then there's you, and then me, and then there's John. You know, there's just different levels of extremism across this. But where I was going with it is, it seems lonely. Like, to make I'm gonna be alone. You know, but you know what happens when you get up and go to that gym, John, and you make the decision that's different from those other guys. And I started making that decision years ago. Guess when I got there, I was not alone.
No, there's other people there. There's other people waiting there for you doing the same thing. You'll have different conversations at 8 in the fucking morning, you know, on a fucking warm up of your bench press than you will at fucking 2 in the morning with some other dipshit in a fucking bar. Those are the conversations.
What happens there, is that we start to attract and repel exactly what we deserve. So when you're around sedentary, lazy, if you will, drinkers, different kinds of fun, you know, you attract that. When you get out and you go to the gym, or you're hiking mountains, or you're signing up for different events, you might go alone, but I've never left alone. You know, you start to attract those types of people, with those and people. You realize, I have a new pack now. I have a new herd of people, and I have a higher quality, maybe even for a little while, a lower quantity, which I actually like, you know, but I have a higher quality of the individuals that I'm being surrounded with. And by the way, they want to be around me too, because I'm pulling my weight now. You know, we're into the same stuff.
Hanging out with Greg Simon.
If we fast forward to a little bit, I love what you're saying, brother. Eventually you're going to find this normal, right? And you're going to be so deep into that normal. Is your normal going to be on fucking 5 different medications to keep your fat ass alive? Or is your normal going to be fucking living a life to make your life better longer? But you get so deep into that normal that you're surrounded by these people. It's harder and harder to escape the longer you wait.
It's just a lifestyle. And like you said, these are standards. And that's what it is. And based on that, when you have standards, when you have boundaries, when this becomes your lifestyle, you don't question it. And you don't accept anything else.
Yeah.
Greg, you've been married for 25 years. Same way.
As of the 26th.
Congratulations.
Be away this weekend. So now I'm calling audibles, man, all day long. Where are we going now?
Congratulations on that, brother. Congratulations on that, brother. So here's a question for you. So, we've been talking about circles of friends and getting new friends and moving friends out, et cetera, et cetera. Within your couple friendships, Greg, how many of your couple friends and families or friends are still married or divorced, or is there a percentage, or is the same group together? Share that a little bit, Greg.
Yeah, it's a great question. Amongst our social circle, what's interesting is the numbers change obviously every year. When you're in your 20s, again, people are getting married, having kids, starting families. 30s, more like mid to late 30s, you hear maybe a couple of rumblings around people getting divorced and things not working out. Your 40s, it tends to be kind of rampant. You hear a lot about couples separating. And now I'm in my 50s. My wife and I are in our 50s. And there's just kind of a different perspective, at least I've gleaned, like a greater understanding. I didn't get it early on, but now it's like, we're empty nesters. People have spent long times together. You see different kinds of relationships, ones that are really sticky and are going to stay together. I don't know about the exact percentage, but then you hear also more about couples that the relationships have just run their course and they both deserve to be happy. They put the heavy lifting in, they did all the grind and they got there in their 50s now. And some are just deciding that, hey, we have a certain period of life, this next phase of life left, and we both want to enjoy it differently. So I get all sides. I don't know if it's a direct answer to your question, Keith, but I think it's situational.
Yeah.
And I say that these situations and circumstances can, defeat us or define us. And couples and relationships have to determine what's best, for them and what's best for their family. I think you get to middle age, you acquire some wisdom, some experience, hopefully, and more empathy and the ability to show some more grace, gratitude, and latitude versus judgment.
Yes. So then let's go here. John talks often about, his wife, Terry, keeping him accountable to the things that he doesn't want to hear. And she does that for him. How about your wife? What has your wife taught you about yourself, Greg, that you didn't want to hear, but you needed to hear, and your partner, your confidant, your rock encouraged you to hear it?
A lot of it for me is ego-based. Allowing my ego, hold me in check around, my ego, taking things personally, lack of vulnerability and empathy, holding on to things too much. She's been a tremendous partner, in that regard. Self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, these are the things that I've dealt with over the years. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of men do, especially as we try to chase a lot of these false metrics of success for a long period of time.
Yeah.
That they can be just good. So those are a lot of the areas where she's been, hugely impactful. She's a much more secure and confident person than I am. Really
interesting.
Knowing who she really is.
For you to say that though, Greg, I'm gonna cut you off. For you to say that, that takes a lot of courage, and I applaud you for that. Right? I'm not trying to be patronizing, but not many men might come out and make a statement like that, where you get comfort by her confidence. Clearly, it's clear to me that her confidence gives you confidence.
It's inspiring to me.
Yeah.
I do say this a lot, and it's taken me a long time to be able to say this. I'm a galactically insecure guy. I think for a lot of us that over-index, if you will, whether that's health, wellness, appearance, status, business, it's to cover up, or to a lot of insecurities, a lack of confidence. And I spent a lot of years working on that. I'll always work on it for the rest of my life. A lot of it started when my father passed away also. You can go down, those rabbit holes when you lose your mentor, your best friend, your father figure, you carry a lot with you, so some of that mojo got, the armor got chipped. And now I spend a lot of time working on confidence, security. As a father also, my boys are 19 to 22, right now.
Yeah.
And they've learned a lot and gotten a lot of that. And so have I, from their mother and from my wife.
But brother, going back up to what you're saying about your insecurity. I mean, God, we go back in time, I was fucking terribly insecure, and granted, we never really lose it. Whatever, what the pieces of us in the beginning, we still carry with us. I was a fat little fucker. I'm going to always be a fat little kid inside too. But what I'm getting at is that, tell me if you agree, I feel like my insecurity and plenty of other fucking things that I thought were the worst thing ever turned out to be the best things for me, because that insecurity, I mean, I had to, between learning disability and being insecure, I had to develop a whole shitload of skill sets that I would not have developed without that. I mean, like going into, developing discipline, I went to the gym because of insecurities. That fucking created a life for me. Thank God.
Think about how these things start. You mentioned that, and I think you're spot on with that, John. Look, I went to the gym because I was getting bullied. I was 13 years old. It's that simple.
Yeah.
You talk about grit. You talk about perseverance. You talk about, how to solve and resolve problems and conflict and challenges, and to become self-reliant. These things come from insecurity. They come from lack of confidence or figuring out, having a desire to improve your confidence. Again, stability in your life and traction, instead of just looking for validation and appreciation all the time. Those things are different. The needing of acceptance and validation 100%. Versus feeling it internally that you're worthy and you're capable and you can go out and do stuff like we're doing right now.
And there's two different schools of being insecure. There's the insecure, okay, yes, I'm insecure, and yes, I've done something because of it, for it, to manage it. And then there's the insecure that fucking hides, never takes a fucking risk. That's the insecure guy that ends up having that insecurity kind of fuck his life up or waste his life, however you want.
That's the guy who wakes up 45 years old and
didn't have the balls to take the fucking step. Okay, I'm going to do some shit for me. And yes, you can still do some shit for you and be a good father and be a good husband. Get your fucking lazy ass up a little bit early. It's amazing what you can do with 1 hour before everybody's awake.
I've got a virtual talk that I'm doing later this afternoon with a large business organization, and it's exactly that. These are men that have over-indexed. I call it the over-indexing trap, and they've fallen into the over-indexing trap like a lot of guys do in business. They're very successful in business, but what has fallen by the wayside? Health, family, and here they are, in middle age, where they've checked the box of finance. But if you get into some of my other F's, family, fitness, food, nutrition, fashion, style, fun, that stuff, those boxes are not only not checked, but they're failing those subjects.
Those boxes have disappeared.
Yeah. And a lot of what I talk about with these guys is, how do you turn your F's into A's? Whatever they are, for you, how do you turn them into A's? Because if you're an A finance, and you're an F in fun, what's your cumulative life GPA? It's fucking average, like you're a C-level guy, and we're trying to talk guys into becoming higher performer guys in all aspects,
in all areas of their lives. Hell yeah, brother.
GPA we're talking about. It's that total life wellness that we're talking about. So you're not super jacked, but can't pay your bills, but you cannot buy anything you want, but you can't get out of bed in the morning, like those extremes like you're talking about, those will crush you.
We're hanging out with Greg Simon. Hey, Johnny, get this one. I want to pause, Greg, because something's not adding up for me. So you talk about I'm not going to say lack of, well, yeah, you said like a lack of confidence, or, you're insecure, but Anderson, get this. So you get in front of Harvey Weinstein and you tell Harvey Weinstein to fuck off. Like, honest to God. And then Anderson, he sells his first business to Michael Eisner, the former Disney CEO. So Simon, I'm telling you, man, something's not adding up for me.
Yeah, let me help you there.
so you're gonna walk up to Weinstein and tell him to fuck off, and then go get a check from Eisner, dude? A little bit of confidence coming from you, brother. I'm shining your mirror back at you, pal.
You can call it, it could be youthful exuberance. It could be recklessness. It could be naivete. It could be a little bit of, arrogance, which comes across, when you also lack confidence, in there. But first off, I was 21, 22 years old when I landed
a lifetime ago.
Yeah. So when I landed on Harvey's desk at Miramax Films, I was 20, right out of college, there. First job I got,
Oh,
number 4 assistant and working my way to the number 1 assistant at the time. This was 30 plus years before Me Too or any of those other things. And I'll say this, he was already on the list of worst people to work for in America, that, and I knew that going in, but as a young, rebellious, reckless youth who had lost his father a few years ago, and I was drinking too much and I thought my shit didn't stink and I was out of school. Like, I just didn't like the way he was talking to me. It was that simple. I didn't like it.
I did love it. Just straight up fucking young, dumb, and full of cum.
Yeah, I just said to him, I'm like, listen, my father would be rolling over in his grave if he knew I let somebody talk to me like this and I didn't knock him out. So I'm fucking out of here. And that's what I
did. Dude, I love it. I love it. That's when you get a young guy that's just that fucking, it's too weird. I love it, dude. I love it.
You actually tell me fuck off. You go, fuck off.
This is where you get into kind of, regret potentially or decision making, and feel really good at the time. And I left out of there, and I remember, I wish I still had it. Back then they had little cassettes for your answering machines,
Yes.
And there was this like groveling message from him, like, come back to the office and it's going to be different and and I wish I still had the message, but never went back. And you look at things in your life, there I was, 21, 22, just gave up an incredible opportunity. I thought I always wanted to be in the film business. I was on the chairman's desk. All you had to do was survive, basically, survive boot camp, survive the initiation, and you get promoted. And instead, my ego or my attitude or whatever the fuck you want to call it, took me out of the game. Took me out of the game. And I see a lot of the people that I was there with at the same time that have gone on to produce major movies, run studios, played the game, got out there. So there's that side. And then you hear from the other side of people that are like, oh, I didn't leave, or I didn't quit, or I put up with this, or they're suing everybody now, because I didn't have a choice. I thought I'd never make it in the business if I quit or I didn't allow it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's bullshit. You always have a choice. It never occurred to me that I couldn't still be successful in the business. It never occurred to me, to your point about confidence or maybe ignorance, that I couldn't still, that one guy was going to stop me from doing anything I really wanted to do, and that I didn't have a choice in this, and that the industry wasn't bigger, than me.
Yeah.
Now it made it harder.
And in that business is actually known to fucking just shut people out too. So you were young, dumb, and full of cum enough to know, to believe that I'm going to tell this fucking heavy hitter to fuck off and I'm going to go find my way.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how many people in the industry have just like fucking disappeared like a fart in the wind because the wrong person got pissed off.
Exactly. Look, and I was fortunate that I was able to go out and I did make a couple of movies and they did all right, and I did. And also really be careful what you wish for. I realized I didn't want it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, because you could have stayed, like you said, all I had to do was exist. You just had to stay there. But what was the cost of that really? So yes, you get a couple of big movies. What was the cost of those movies? Was that really going to be, yes, it would have given you that accolade, but what about the rest of your life? Would it have been there the way you wanted to? Very possibly not.
So instead I made a couple of small movies, and did the thing and realized, that wasn't really what I wanted. It wasn't really the lifestyle or career path that I wanted. And that, got me down ultimately to Texas where I'm a native New Yorker, but and then I met my wife and she's a native Texan and got us down to Texas and got me into this other business, to your point, Keith, about whether that's confidence or not. I just always kind of felt like, hey, I got to make something happen for me, whether that's confidence or just, again, necessity. At that point, I was married. We had a son. Yeah. And I started this video company out of, the trunk of my car. I'm sitting at home watching, Sesame Street, Baby Einstein, like a new dad. And this is all the stuff that ages us a little bit. Remember Picture in Picture? I had the giant, 300-pound television set, with the first Picture in Picture. And I'm watching ESPN in the little box and like the Baby Einstein, Sesame Street shit in the big box with my son on my lap. And I'm like, why isn't the ESPN bigger in the Sesame Street show? There's got to be something for other dads out there. And I just started the sports video company on a whim.
Yeah.
This would be a big idea. And, ultimately ended up, like you said, partnering with Michael Eisner. He invested in the company. We were partners for over 7 years. And like anything else in entrepreneurship, you know, things go up, things go down, and we had a heck of a run. And you just learn from these experiences. You know, they shape you, like I was saying. Like,
oh yeah,
1 minute you're Eisner's guy or you're Harvey's guy, and the next minute you're out of a job starting over again.
Well, it's interesting, Greg, to hear you say that, because we kicked the show off. This is fascinating, actually, because we kicked the show off, and you know, we don't spend a lot of time idolizing folks because we all put our pants on the same way. But you know, Dwayne Johnson got snubbed for the Oscar yesterday. So just, you know, it's just kind of like that kind of analogy, right? You might have been Weinstein's guy, you might have been Eisner's guy, but life continues to go on, right? So it doesn't matter who you are, it's just life goes on, doesn't it, Simon?
It does, and these are identity. Look, these are identity situations.
Yes.
Where, you know, for a while there was a period, call it my 20s, where my identity was around, you know, movies and Harvey and Miramax. In my 30s or so, the identity was around, you know, Team Baby, the company, and Eisner, and doing that. And only in my late 30s into 40s, I had to reinvent myself, you know, kind of tuck the tail between your legs and say, I'm going to go into a totally different business. And I got into insurance and risk management, you know, of all things down here, because I was so fucking tired of being the risk taker. I'm like, what's the opposite of being a risk taker? Oh, like, I'll go into risk management. Like, if I've taken so many risks and failed and succeeded, what's the exact opposite? I mean, it was literally the George Costanza kind of thing for me. Like when George does the opposite on Seinfeld, I was like, you know what? I don't know what else to do. So let me just do the opposite of what I've been doing, and got into that kind of a business, which was, you know, ultimately one of the more successful things that I'd done financially. Like personally, it was like one of the least satisfying and fulfilling things. But, you know, you have to make those decisions sometimes also, guys, when you're, you know, you've got a mortgage, you've got cars, we had private school. I have 2 kids at this point, you know, like back to what do we need to do as guys, and how, again, can we look ourselves in the mirror and say, you know, we're upholding whatever standard that is that we set for ourselves. You got to do it.
From alcoholic to athlete, how this 53-year-old built a $7 million business twice, and why midlife isn't the crisis. Anderson, when I saw Scheinman's name, we look for interesting people. I got to be honest, man. I saw his glasses. I saw that bald skull of yours, and I thought, this guy looks interesting. And then I did a little bit of digging, and I thought, this guy's very interesting. So we invited him to the show. And I got to tell you, Greg, I just feel like we just scratched, like literally just scratched the top of the surface. You're awesome, man. You got to come back and hang out with us again. I think Johnny would agree. You got, you know, we're the same age. There's a lot of similarities between the three of us. Greg, would you come back, hang out with us again sometime?
I would love to, man. This has been a pleasure and a privilege. And guys, I appreciate you both. John, big fan. Love following your stuff and what you've done out there. Maybe we'll get to train together one day. Would be awesome. But thank you very much. Look, I'm happy, and anything we can do to help guys, let's do it.
What about me? What about me, the guy in the white space in the middle?
You too, man. I started with you, Keith.
I'm in the tent washing the dishes so you guys can bring the food back for us. So what the hell?
I started with you, man. I'll do whatever you want.
I officially made him my assistant so he could feel included.
Hey, Greg, before you go, what are you going to accomplish today, brother? What's on your agenda today?
Oh man, you know, look, show me your calendar. I'll show you your priorities. It's one of the things I say all the time, you know? So, you know, if you can't open up your calendar any day, anytime, and show me what's there, and it doesn't have your shit in order, then hey, like that's accountability. That's culpability right there. So, man, I gotta get off.
Dude, I love that, brother. If your goals aren't in your schedule, they're just fucking wishes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to hit the gym after this, walk into the garage, get it done. I've got a sales meeting with my biz dev guy. I've got an event for YPO in the afternoon. It's a full day. You know, I'll leave you with this. I've got one rule. I do 3 personal and 3 professional things every day. It's something I think every guy can do. They ask me where they can start. Take out a card. Okay, I'll show you right. I use my own personal stationery. It just has my name on the top. I grab a pen, and every day I write a little note to myself of the 3 personal and 3 professional things that I'm going to accomplish today. And when I'm done with it, I'm done. That's what I've realized is my bandwidth. Some guys can do more, some guys can do less. But if you opened up my calendar on this phone, every day you'd see 3 personal and 3 professional things that I got to get done.
And just so I'm clear, so those 6 things, in your brain, when they're done, if you did nothing for the rest of the day, in your mind, you've accomplished what needs to be accomplished. Whether it happens in 1 minute, 5 minutes, 12 hours, those 6 things move the needle in Greg Scheinman's life.
Absolutely.
Love
and
that.
a lot of what happens is we overestimate what we can do in a day and we underestimate what we can do in a year. So get the important things that you need to get done. Okay. And then go out and enjoy your life, man.
Love it. Love it. Where can folks connect with you, Greg?
midlifemail.com. Subscribe to the newsletter. We put everything out there, our events, our experiences, our A-list interviews, our content, columns, all that. midlifemail.com and at Greg Scheinman on Instagram.
Awesome. Greg, I'm going to reach out. We'll grab a coffee sometime after the show. I'm not today, but let's grab some coffee. I want to get to know you a little more. Okay.
I would love it. Gentlemen, thank you so much. This is awesome.
Greg Scheinman, Keith Billis, John Anderson. This morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. We're doing a lifestyle tip, hour 2, coming back with Dr. John Petrocelli. BS, no BS. We're talking imposter syndrome, and we are talking cognitive bias. Anderson, you're up, brother. Let's get after it.
Let's talk about standards. People misunderstand goals with standards. Because, see, you're going to achieve whatever your standards are. If your standards are beyond your goals, you'll crush your goals. If your standards are beneath your goals, you're going to have a hell of a time reaching your goals. But now, what is a standard? Let's break it down. That's how you choose to live your life, sometimes even in the cracks of your life. Sometimes it means when nobody's looking. Are you getting the work done when nobody's looking? Are you doing the things you need to do even when you don't want to? Do you hold the promises to yourself? We've been talking about that a lot lately. But here's the thing. Your standards might be the most important part of you in terms of achieving what you want in your life in any area of your life. If your standards are low, your ability to get what you want is going to be compromised substantially. Now, how do you increase your standards? First thing is to recognize that your standards are not getting where you want to go. Second thing would be to start looking at your life and starting small. You hear me talk about that a lot as well. Don't take these huge whacks at trying to change something this is a big undertaking if you come at it the wrong way. It's not so bad if you start small, because as you start small, it gets easier as you slowly take bigger steps. But the bottom line is start with the snooze. You hear us talk about it all the time. Are you hitting the snooze? Well, my standards, I don't hit the snooze, period. End of story. I can't remember the last time I hit the fucking snooze button. Snooze button is the stupidest fucking thing ever brought to the fucking human race. It's like a license to be fucking lazy and procrastinate. Either way, what are your standards, and are your standards getting you what you want? If they're not, time to start resetting your standards. Rock and roll.
Welcome back to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. If you're just joining us, we're about to head into hour 2. Yes, Dr. John Petrocelli. We're going to get after. We're going to talk imposter syndrome. We're also going to talk about cognitive biases. Hey, first hour, guys, we talked about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, getting snubbed, and we talked about how men often tie their work to outcomes they don't control. And we also got into how AI is moving faster than our laws. We touched fitness without turning into nonsense, and we got into a great conversation about midlife with Greg Scheinman, today's center stage guest. All right, let's get after, guys. Let's turn our attention to Mr. Dr. John Petrocelli coming in this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Good time. I'm wondering the same thing, man. The 9-minute snooze button. It's funny. I heard Johnny ranting about the snooze button. I agree with you, man. Let's get that shit out of here. What's going on, Petro?
Hey, what's up?
How are you, pal? What's going on today?
Excellent.
Yeah. How's your week been?
Fantastic.
Yeah. We've had a great week of guests, man. I'm telling you. When Johnny gets back, I want to talk about that puzzle with you. But before we do that, let's get into our week of guests. Dude, we had, and I know you sit there and observe from afar, we've had a wide spectrum of guests this week on the show.
Very broad. Yeah, fantastic, though. I mean, each one, I wanted to hear more from each one.
Yes.
And I would say
Hamish on Monday. Let's start at the beginning. So we had Hamish on Monday. Yeah.
Hamish Yeah, Hamish, I mean, I love how he dispelled a lot of the myths surrounding HIV and
Me
AIDS.
too. Yes,
And
I learned something that day. Yeah.
And that was the of all of the things that's happened in his life and all of the things he's accomplished, that ended up being the sort of the shortest discussion. But that's where I was like, yeah, I really wanted to hear more, because it's such a huge problem where people have all of these assumptions and biases about, I guess, I mean, this was started in the 80s, but it was, there's a lot of very strong assumptions. I mean, people were just behaviorally, they would stay as far away as possible because they had all these beliefs like, well, if I even breathe the same air.
Yes.
But I really liked how he kind of was able to speak from experience.
That's how we grew up, right? Like, let's face it, you, me, and Anderson, same age. So when I learned about that, and I'll be frank with you, man, I guess maybe I was, trying to learn as an interviewer how to have that conversation. Because to me, again, learning, like, I was like, so how do you ask somebody about that? But Hamish was so vulnerable and open about it. But to your point, I learned more in those 2 minutes of us scratching the surface on that topic than anything. Like, I learned a lot from him on that one there, to be frank with you.
Tons.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. And then you had the rest of the rest of your guests also had something like really unique.
Well, then we had Bly11, who's in Vegas, and he's there with his wife to repair the marriage. They're at this concert event, and not only do they get shot at, to Anderson's point yesterday, the guy runs back to save a bunch more people. Like, who does that?
Yeah. He's not just a survivor.
No,
he's a fucking survivor / saver / hero / God knows what other fucking amazing adjectives you could put on.
Incredible story. Like, Petro, let's be frank here. Like, I guess maybe in the moment your adrenaline's going, you're running back to the crowd. But to hear him tell his story, and then Petro, when I saw his name, I knew he was it's the son of the baseball guy. But then to keep digging into it, like, wow, what a great story Bly11 put on the table for us.
Yeah, I know he said he was basically just kind of relaxing, having a beer on the lawn chair or something, yes. And then immediately turns into Superman.
Then we had the philosopher on the show, and we unleashed John and Gwendolyn into philosophy, and that was fascinating too, because it's really. And I know, John, this is what you do for a living, but it's fun, Petro. It's fun when you get into some really deep conversations. It's exhausting. I was tired that day because my brain was thinking so hard.
Yeah, I loved it though. I thought Gwendolyn Dolsk was beyond interesting.
Yes.
And that's my bias. So if you bring another professor, especially somebody in philosophy, that's going to be my favorite guest.
And then yesterday, of course, we had the crime scene lady cleaning crime scenes. Anderson, thoughts on that one? That was fun too.
Well, it all made a little bit more sense once we found out that there was TV shows connected to the whole
yes.
Yeah, so I was like, this is a fucking really unique situation, but she's positive enough and seems sincere enough and seems like, she's really holding on to God with this whole thing. Like, okay, you find this once in a while, but then and I'm not trying to say anything bad, but then also when you find there's a couple of TV productions behind it, it fucking makes a lot more sense.
Well, John, we had coffee after yesterday too, and she's don't be surprised if we see more of Sadie Marshall around here, because she was loving our energy, loves what we're producing. She's like, how do I get me some of that? I go, let's keep talking. So she was awesome, man. She was so we had a coffee after, and her energy from the show continued, John. She's like, I still don't really know what I was a part of. I've never been experienced with that, but I want to be a part of that. How do I get me some of that? Was basically paraphrasing, because she's like, that was crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, I loved her energy too. I thought, yes. but I after the interview, I thought she could probably do a master class on how to be positive. Because I'm guessing if she showed maybe 5% of the horrific shit she has to go through,
yes,
but yet remain so positive about life and her work and the future and everything. I mean, it's just.
Well, I think she holds on to the fact that I totally agree, Petro. I think she holds on to the fact that she, no matter what kind of shit that she's in, she's changing lives. And I think that changing a life really fucking kind of camouflages what kind of fucking shit, soup you're carrying someone out of, so to speak. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such an empowering thing.
So, guys, I want to get into conversation about bias today. So, I'm trying something new. X. So, Petra, I know you spend time on X, and and Elon is investing significantly in X. So, we are as well significantly increasing our presence. X is producing well for us. Well, they have this. They have their articles platform that they're rolling out. So, I thought that we could have a conversation. And Anderson, when we have Petra in our corner, I love getting these kind of chats because I learn, and I just fucking learn, and I love it. I want to talk about the 11 most powerful cognitive biases that are out there and that we often just as humans lean into, don't understand, misunderstand. And I thought we can talk about it. We'll go through them and then we're going to chop it up and we're going to take our conversation. We're trying something today, guys. We're going to chop up our conversation and make it part of the article that's linked to this. So I thought we could start with, biases don't just affect opinions, but biases shape goal setting. They shape business decisions, fitness consistency, leadership judgment, and even mental health. Before we run the opener, when you hear cognitive bias, Petra, what do you hear when you hear me start talking about this?
Cognitive bias, I think about the reason why they're there.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's usually typically one of the reasons why people engage in or apply cognitive biases is because they don't really understand it as a bias. They don't think of it as a bias. They think of it as the way things are. They think of that's reality, right?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's get the first one then, Petro. First one, confirmation bias, which is we're seeking information that confirms that we already believe and ignore what challenges us. It locks us into outdated strategies. Is this a common thing, Petro?
Oh,
this is probably the star. This is the Superman of.
I was gonna say
cognitive
it
bias.
doesn't get any fucking better than this, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, in the fitness industry, you can't fucking believe how many people reach out and that all they want to do is tell me what they're doing so I can say yes, you should keep doing that.
Oh,
all they want is
Anderson.
confirmation that they're doing their okay. Well, real quick, you're telling me what you're doing. You're not happy with the results. What the fuck do you want me to tell you? Yes, keep doing that for the rest of your life and stay fat or whatever the problem is that you have.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But if I say, yeah, this looks good, they just fucking keep doing that. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
So, Petro, question for you then, as our professor, why do us as men, women, all of us, why do we get locked in and we just we put the blinders on? And we stay within. We stay calling Anderson for confirmation and affirmation. Why is it, Petro?
Yeah, so there's already, like John was saying, there's already an idea, or there's an expectation, or there's some sort of personal theory about how something works, or what is actually true, and so they've already foreclosed on that idea as being correct.
Okay,
and so they tend to pay attention, recognize, think about. Organize incoming information all around that belief, and just reject anything that disconfirms the belief as if it's invalid, it's uncredible. So it's really there to sort of simplify information, because there's so much information. And if you're going to be a bookkeeper and you're going to carry around an Excel spreadsheet all day with you with regard to your belief, you're going to miss a lot of information. It's going to be based almost solely on personal experience.
Number two, the anchoring bias. So the first number, the idea, the opinion, Johnny hears an opinion, it becomes his reference point. That happens to us too, doesn't it, Petro?
All the time. Yeah, all the time. And it can create a contrast. So you think like, okay, well, and John knows this. I mean, anybody that lifts weights knows this. If you pick up, a 45-pound plate and move it around a little bit, and then you pick up, a 10-pound plate, the 10-pound plate feels super light, right? It's like, you can throw it 100 yards, right? Yeah. So the anchor, the reference point, or that standard of comparison that was set, shapes that experience. But in the mind, it's very difficult to let go of that reference point, or that standard of comparison. Oh. And so people, what we call it sometimes is the insufficient adjustment from the anchor. So if I say to you something like, hey, how many active volcanoes are there in the world?
Yeah.
Are there more or less than 100? some people think, well, I don't know, maybe
probably less than 100. I'm thinking. Yeah,
I was actually over 2,000.
I was going to say, I think there's a shit we just don't hear about them.
Yeah. But if I said to you, are there more or less than 1,500? People will tend to say, well, that sounds too high, and they'll adjust downward.
Oh, because I heard your number.
Yes,
I anchor that. I anchor that because I feel like you're leading me in that direction as a human, right? Like I'm like, okay, if he's leading me here with 200, it must be around that number. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yes. If I ask you, like, what is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 1?
Yeah.
People will often give a much higher estimate. As I say, give me your answer in 5 seconds. You can only think about it for 5 seconds. They'll give estimates like, maybe 2,000, 3,000. If I said, what's 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 all the way to 8, you tend to get a much lower estimate. They might say like, maybe 560 or something. It's actually well over 40,000. I think it's 40,320. But you do the early calculations, and then that people start to anchor from that and don't do the
dude. That last one is where all the juice is. It's the last one where it really fucking goes.
Yeah. Anderson, do you know about availability heuristic? Have you heard about that, Johnny Anderson?
I would need to understand the definition of
sure.
heuristic.
Yeah. So and I'm learning this right now with you guys too. It's if something is easy to recall, we assume it's common or likely. Mm-hmm. And we call that availability heuristic, Anderson.
That would be if you're the average man, because if you're not the average man, you're recalling shit that the average don't.
Is that the case, Petro? So news cycles, social media it's distorting our risk perception, which is increasing anxiety and poor decision making because we assume that because we're hearing something that it's common or it's likely. Is that how it works, Petro?
Well, that would be an example of it.
Okay.
But first, a heuristic is basically a general rule of thumb.
Okay.
Or it's a general idea, sort of about the way things work, or how frequent or how probable something is.
Okay.
So with the availability heuristic, people tend to overestimate the frequency or the probability of something occurring based on how easy it is to generate examples. So this could be based in memory. This could be based on previous experiences, but also if I ask you to imagine something that's never happened, that you could not have experienced, and it's relatively easy to imagine, there's a tendency to view that event as likely to occur. But if it's difficult to imagine, people say, "Oh no, this is very unlikely to occur." So it's really the ease or difficulty of the thought generation, examples, or memory of things that are similar to it that have occurred in the past that shape the perception that this event is going to happen or not going to happen. And then but this example that you bring up, Keith, is with media attention. It shapes very much the standards of comparison that people use to judge events, and again the likelihood. So, like we know that you're much more likely to survive traveling by plane than you are by car over the same distance, especially long distance.
Yeah.
But people, probably the most dangerous place that you will be in any particular day is in a car, in a vehicle, right? But the attention of a plane crash is so great that it's overestimated in people's perceptions, that the likelihood of it actually occurring. That's why most people who are fearful of flying are not fearful of driving their car. But
Interesting. Anderson, this one comes up with us, with challenges with food and addiction and so forth. Hindsight bias. This idea that we rewrite history instead of extracting real lessons because after an outcome are known, we believe they were obvious all along. So we don't. It's like we don't learn from our mistakes. Would I be summarizing that correctly, Petro? That in hindsight, I should have made a better decision in the kitchen. In hindsight, I shouldn't have eaten those bag of cookies. In hindsight, but yet we just don't learn. Is that hindsight bias, Petro?
Yes, but it's a little bit more like, yeah, I knew it all along. Hindsight is 2020, and we forget when we learned the outcome. So if you see people have this experience, so let's say the pick 3 number tonight is 259, and you thought, I was thinking of that number, it's like I knew it was going to be 259, and it's like, no, you just misrepresent in memory when you learned the information. You thought you had the information before they did the drawing, right? So people experience this because they can easily imagine, playing the number 259, or perhaps the number is 258. And it's really easy to think, oh, that was almost, that 8 could have been a 9. And, basically any kind of imagination of any alternative beforehand, like in a horse race, I'm thinking about betting on horse number 5, 6, and 7, but ultimately I bet on horse 3, and then horse number 7 wins. My horse loses, right? I knew it. It's like you generally imagine some of these possibilities, and that increases the likelihood that you feel like you knew it all along. Because
Petra, what do you think about the fact, like, when someone's repeating a mistake, like eating something shitty before bed, the fact that it's so familiar, it's almost like a mistake that doesn't feel like a mistake until it's over.
Oh,
yeah, I have this problem myself. It's and I will go 6. I can go anywhere between 2 weeks and 2 years staying off the Diet Coke, but every once in a while I think, oh yeah, I can just have one. No, I've probably done this at least 16 dozen times where no, I can't just have one. That'll end up starting it, and I know that, right? And so I'm not learning from experience, and people generally learn from experience, but it takes a lot more experience to learn from experience than you would ever expect on some of the most probable things.
Well, I'm the same way. Like we all the same way, Petro. So it's a fascinating question Anderson asks, because we all struggle with the same thing. I'm assuming we know it's the bad thing, yet we still do it.
Well, it's like, I'll use this as a perfect example, like me and cannabis, right?
Yeah.
If the shit is accessible to me, I'll find myself fucking justifying a reason why I need to fucking do it to go to sleep. Period. End of story. It's it's like that. That's a battle that I will fucking lose. So in certain situations, I'll say to Terry, hey, XYZ, I'm going to do this, but I have to set up the plan and the guardrails for the following day.
Yeah.
So let me have this tonight. Fucking hide this tomorrow. Don't let me find this tomorrow.
Well, then Petro, is what Anderson calling, is that blind spot bias, where we see the bias clearly but assume that we are objective? So Anderson feels that he's objective. Yeah. I can stay away from the cannabis. I'm objective about it. But the reality is that it's the most dangerous one, because it's actually going to prevent his correction. It's preventing your correction from the Coke. Is that what blind spot bias is, Petro?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And there's sort of this belief that you also have it, that you have the bias under control.
Oh,
misrecognition that you're actually creating. There's something that you're doing that's creating it. For instance, the way it works for me usually, is that I feel like I deserve it. I set up a situation where, like, oh well, I'm ahead of the game, and actually doing this is not setting me backward. If anything, I'm just, it's coming out in the wash.
You've justified it to yourself.
It's a reward. This is a reward.
It's a reward. And as we all know, I mean, treating any late night snacks or fake sugars that are bad for you as if they're not, it's
nothing better than celebrating a win with a loss, right?
Well, and then boys, isn't that this then, Petro? So looking at you as our social scientist here, Petro, isn't what you're talking about, and I'm looking at my notes here, isn't what you're talking about the framing effect? Because you're now, it's the identical information, but it feels different because you're justifying it to yourself, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're reframing it in your mind, right? 90% success versus 10% failure, right? Am I presenting it correctly, Petro?
Yeah. Yes, but the interesting thing about framing,
yes,
is often forgotten. So if you frame multiple options or alternatives in a decision,
yes,
as gains or wins, or maybe lives saved, for instance.
Okay, yeah.
There's a strong tendency for people to choose to avoid risk. We call it risk averse.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's like, you give me two options and you frame it in terms of what could be gained or what could be saved in positive aspects. And people are like, nope, I'm not going to take the risky option. I'm going to go with the safe option.
Yeah.
But then the moment that you switch it and you say, all right, well, look at what you can lose from these same two options. You focus them in on what you can lose. People hate to lose.
What are you protecting would be the question for this.
Oh, yeah.
So this is where people tend to go with the risky option. So gains, they're risk averse, but losses, they're risk taking, which is counterintuitive, but it's kind of like, well, I'm not willing to take the risk if you focus me on what I can win, but if you focus me in on what I might lose, because I really hate that, even the same amount, people find $20, in a pair of jeans that they put through the wash, and right, I got my $20 back, right? They lose that same $20.
Yes.
The intensity of the disgust and negativity is much more extreme than the positivity of finding the $20.
Yeah.
It's crazy you say that, brother, because I find myself saying, I'm gonna protect myself from making sure that I want to make sure that I'm going to protect that I can actually attempt that home run, which means I'm going to swing the bat. So that's how, I frame it like that. I'm not thinking about striking out. I'm thinking I got to protect. If I don't fucking swing the bat, that home run's not even possible.
Well,
so my protection starts with I'm getting in the box and I'm swinging.
Petro, he's talking about the same thing that was in who Gretzky said it, right? You'll miss all the shots you don't take.
Yes,
100%. You miss 100% of the shots you're too chicken shit to take. So
Anderson's admitting that he's going to miss. Anderson knows he's going to fail 99 times. He's okay with that, so that he can get one, and then 98 times to get two, 97 times to get three. That's just something we learned, isn't it, Petro?
Yeah, and I'm thinking that the Gretzky and home run examples are really good examples of the framing effect, sort of in action and sort of mental simulation of them. So, I haven't thought about them that way, but
it's almost like I think it's almost like a timeline to be the wrong line, but somewhere in there you've got to take a stance and protect something. Are you going all the way back to making sure there's no loss? Are you holding right here to the point where, if I don't protect here, all of this gain is not possible.
Yeah.
I'm protecting my possibilities.
Dr. John Petrocelli, Keith Bills, John Anderson this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. We're going to wrap up here in just a quick couple minutes. I got to get Anderson on his way. But Petro, one I want to put on here with you, and this is I think we all get caught up in this one, the bandwagon effect, where we all run towards something. The bias fuels trends, bubbles, and groupthink, even when it conflicts with many people's personal values. Yet we all jump onto the bandwagon.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This idea that you believe like what the rest of the group believes, you espouse what they do, especially if the group is winning. If the group is winning, there's another effect that kind of goes along with it. It's called basking in reflected glory. And this is the idea, couples with the bandwagon effect, that you can sort of just by association with the group, even if you're just a fan, you're not even on the team, you can sort of own some of that win or that championship, that was won. So as if you're almost like belong on the team, as if you're a member on the team. So you're much more likely to start.
So it's like what Keith says. We're winning, and he's talking about the Jets.
Yeah.
No.
Even though they're not these days. No. Dr. John Petrocelli joining us this morning with myself and John Addison. Before you guys go, hey Petro, that quick good morning, John, everybody. That quick puzzle you gave us last Friday that I failed at miserably, and it didn't dawn on me until Anderson threw it on the table Mondays. I had to go outside the box. Seriously, I was on the weekend. I was fucking trying to do it all because I'd seen it before and I had never succeeded at it. But Anderson, you looked at it, you're like, no, you got to go outside the box.
Well, the biggest clue I had was it came from fucking Petro, and every one of these he's fucking pitched at us. You got to think out. You can't think inside. And so I was like, okay, outside the box, outside. And it just fucking dawned on me. I have to fucking draw. There's no rule that says you can't go all the way across this fucking piece of paper.
That's right.
Fucking make another right line coming back. So you got to shoot across that middle section all the way to where you can wrap back and hit it. It turns out to be kind of like an arrow, doesn't it, Petro?
That's right. It looks a lot like this.
So I'm going to bring this.
There we go.
Look at that. So I'm going to bring this to our confirmation, to our bias discussion, because Petro, I'm thinking that I had anchoring bias, right? Because I heard you say something, I anchored my belief in something you said, and that's what happened. That's why I failed at it. Would that be correct, Petro? Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I'd say maybe maybe half anchoring and insufficient adjustment and confirmation bias, because usually people do this divergent thinking, first principle thinking task. They say they impose another rule that you got to stay inside the sort of pre-imposed box, and you got to fight against that. You got to fight against that urge from that initial hypothesis that sets it up as you might call it an anchor.
Well, you know what I've realized when you throw these riddles at us, the first thing I got to start doing is asking myself questions. Like the one about the hockey players.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if this is not his fucking dad, who is he? Oh, it's a she. He's got a big old fucking gnarly mom playing hockey.
Well, can I give you another one?
Yes, please.
Short. This one's multiple choice too. So you have and it's only 3 options, so you have a 1/3 chance of getting it correct.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Jack is looking at Anne, but Anne is looking at George. Jack is married, but George is not. Is a married person looking at an unmarried person? Yes, no, or cannot be determined.
Jack is married to Anne.
Jack's looking at Anne. Anne's looking at George. Jack is married, but George is not. Is a married person looking at an unmarried person?
I would honestly need to put this on paper this morning.
Yeah.
I'm having a fuck. As soon as you get to the third person, my fucking brain's kind of going too many directions.
You know what we need for that? We need a vintage calculator. So Petro, I heard you. Don't tell us the answer. Me and Anderson are going to work at this one.
Love these things.
I had one of these.
Oh my god, dude! Doesn't surprise me. Jesus Christ.
Casio, yes, the Casio.
I had one of these.
You see the fuck. There's back in the days, got the fucking cool kids, and then you got the fucking the guy that's fucking walking around to get some idea, and he's fucking.
That was me, Anderson. Yes, that was me.
Just stops in the middle of the fucking hall.
Oh my goodness! Hey, John, before you go.
John, before you go, stop running default husband V1.0. It's buggy. It crashes intimacy every time.
Default mode is quiet, rushed, and checked out. Then you roll over like you clocked out.
You want better chemistry? Start earlier. Compliment her at 2 p.m., not 2 seconds before.
Ask what she wants. Then listen. Guessing is not leadership, it's gambling.
We've got 28 moves today. Translation, 28 reminders to try. Effort is attractive.
Hey, John, give the guys one piece of advice they'll actually use. No speeches, just something real.
So I got to be honest, I'm not really sure what the boys are talking about there. I got a ridiculous video here. Let's throw this up on the screen, guys. So
my brain went to sex. I don't know if I was incorrect or not.
No, you're right. You're correct, but it's not really what this. So check out this video, man. This is
Well, if you want a tip for that, I got a fucking.
No, this is not it either. Actually, this is not the video. No, I'm not sure. Oh, guys, you guys.
Why don't I just ease your pain with the tip about?
I had an awesome video for the segment. I'm not sure where it is, but it's I had a really ridiculous. So anyways, Petro, what do you got going on today, brother?
Oh, I'm going to be working on the book again.
Yes,
getting some insight from other authors. This is a good one.
Oh, tell us about it quickly.
How to become a really good pain in the ass. How to ask a guide to asking the right questions.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, take a look at that and try to integrate that into my.
That's fun. That's fun.
Next chapter.
Canadians jersey on. Maybe I got to get you to Winnipeg next October. The Jets and the Canadians are doing a Heritage Classic.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
You know, Petro, he's digging to get a John up there. So you go. You're used to the cold. You go on up there and satisfy his John in the cold, and I'll stay down here where it's nice and warm.
I know I only have a select window when Anderson will come visit me because it's certain held in this weekend. It's it's the coldest weekend of the year right now. The high tomorrow is I think when we go to minus 35, we become the same. Well, tomorrow it's minus 35 high.
Yes, yeah. We're supposed to get pummeled here, but
you guys are getting crazy storm too, and I think Anderson's missing it. Petro, I don't think Anderson's getting it. Actually, he's going to have. Anderson has a storm for his Starlink. He's got to figure that out today. That's his project today, isn't it, Anderson?
That's right. That's right. That's exactly. Because if I don't get that figured out, then I don't get to go to even warmer environment to my house in Mexico tomorrow. So I need to solve it.
Awesome. All right, we're going to get you guys out of here. I appreciate you both. Petro, appreciate you, brother. Always do. Anderson, lots of love from me to you. And you guys have a good one. I got a busy day with some ridiculous meetings. Anderson, I'll send you some text later today. I got some very exciting meetings coming up. Petro, I'll send you some text too. And I'll be excited to share some stuff with you guys along the way. All right.
Beautiful, brother.
Sounds great.
All right, guys, have a good one, okay?
All right, love you guys.
Beautiful. All right, Petro and Anderson are out of here. We're going to keep the show going, guys. Good morning. Welcome back to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Your daily live morning experience where we stumble our way through things. All right, let's get after it. I got something to say about immigration, and not what you think when it comes to immigration. No, not at all, actually. I got a different take on immigration today, and I want to put it on the table and have a conversation with it in today's morning focus on this morning's Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends.
Everyone's watching borders closed for people. Meanwhile, AI just walks in everywhere. No passports, no questions.
That's the migration, not bodies, bandwidth. And it's already happening inside every app.
These aren't cute bots. They'll be tutors and advisors. They'll talk like authority. And the doors open with no ID, no provenance, no accountability when something goes wrong.
We'd never hire a doctor with no credentials. So why are we fine with invisible digital ones?
This isn't a tech upgrade, it's a civilization shift.
Yep.
Let's talk rules of entry before we wake up inside it.
All right, guys, so listen, picture this. Picture this. The next great migration wave will not be people crossing deserts, ocean, or airports. No, not at all. And I teased it at the beginning of the show because we're not thinking about what's coming next. We absolutely aren't. It's going to be AIs crossing APIs. Yeah, true story. And it's already happening. So when we're talking about migration, we're so focused on humans, but the reality is we already have these digital AI crossing APIs. And what's an API? It's an application protocol interface. It's how we connect the internet. It's how we connect technology. And these AI is crossing borders left and right. And I want you to sit with this for a second. Within a decade, we will more than likely see hundreds of millions of digital immigrants arrive. Like, what, Keith? Think about this for a second. Not with suitcases, not with passports, but with logins, model weights, compute. And a huge chunk of them will be born out of two places that are already dominating the world's attention economy and innovation. Probably right here in America and probably over there in China. But here's the part that really messes with my thought process. We've got countries everywhere tightening borders for humans. Think about this. Lean in, guys. Ears up, please. Visas harder to get. Immigration debates are louder. Refugees get politicized. ICE is kicking people out of the country left and right. No judgment. Entire lives getting reduced to paperwork and suspicion. But for non-human entities, guys, the border, wide open. Wide open. Just wide motherfucking open. Yep. For AI, it's basically come on in. Yeah, so I'm sitting here in Turkey and I'm just wandering over there into America because I'm an AI. I'm sitting over here in Russia. I'm just wandering over into Canada because I'm an AI. No questions, no names, no history, no stopping at the border, no accountability. Here's his access to our schools. Go teach our children. Oh, here's the hospitals. Go and doctor our patients. Oh, here's our phones. Here's our inboxes and our kids. Just AI. Go wrap yourself around it. Oh, sign up. Get put onto the phone. Why doesn't that stop us in our tracks? Why isn't anybody talking about it? Because these won't be cute little chatbots, you guys. No. These AI and the AI that we're developing, they're going to be doctors, teachers, therapists, customer support, financial advisors, probably not in your own country. Oh no, Keith, that can't be the case. Are you fucking kidding me? This is what I do for a living. I know it to be the case. They're going to be the invisible workforce inside every company you interact with. Yet the borders are closed. No, they're not. They're not fucking closed. They're also going to be something else. They're going to be influence. They're going to be shaping what you believe, what you hear, what you buy, what you taste, who you trust, and what you think is true, and what you think is normal. Guys, this isn't science fiction. No, that's the logical next step of what we have already built. I am not blowing facetious smoke up your ass. No, and I'm not saying this like some anti-AI guy. No, I'm actually the opposite. True story. And I'm just out here handing out a little white flag as a warning because I'm building in this world every single day. I'm fascinated by it. I'm using it. I've got AI co-hosts and characters and a whole universe of conversations happening around this stuff live every day. I'm not afraid of the tools, but I'm afraid of the sleepwalking into the cultural reality that the tool creates. And nobody's fucking talking about it. So you know what I decided today? I am going to talk about it. I am going to make a monologue about it. I am going to spend some time educating all of you about this. Because migration, well, listen, let's be frank about it. It always creates opportunity. Oh, but it also creates tension every single time. And humans migrate. We migrate to tension. Tension in the language, tension in the culture, tension in the religion, the jobs, the identity, the resources, the belongings. And then people argue about assimilation. People get scapegoated. People get canceled, exploited. People get blamed for problems that they didn't even create. Now, let's think about this. Imagine that same tension. But the immigrants, yeah, we're talking immigrants, they're not human. They don't get tired. They don't need any sleep. They don't have childhood trauma. They're not listening to our show needing any accountability advice. They don't even need a paycheck. Neiman, they don't even need a bathroom break. And you know what? They scale instantly. They can replicate themselves like that. They can learn faster than any workforce in history. No, I'm not talking about humans again, guys. I'm talking about AI agents. And they can show up wearing whatever mask you want them to wear. So ask yourself this. What happens when your kid's tutor is an AI that sounds like a warm, patient teacher, but it was trained to optimize engagement, not truth? What, you think I'm bullshitting you? It's fucking happening. How do I know? Because I'm building it. I'm part of it. And I'm sharing it with you. What happens when your doctor is an AI that nails 99 out of 100 diagnoses, but nobody can explain the one when it gets wrong? And the person who pays the price? Your mom. What happens when the AI becomes the default voice of authority because it speaks confidently? It cites sources, it never hesitates even when it's wrong. And oh, by the way, they're all not from our country because if they immigrated here, nobody stopped them. And what happens when people start asking the question we always ask during any migration wave? Any migration wave that comes in. Who gets displaced? Because displacement is coming, nation. And it's pretending. And if we're pretending that it isn't coming, it doesn't make it compassionate. It makes you unprepared. You are unprepared. I'm telling you right now, you're unprepared. I know you're unprepared because you're not talking about it. Here's the crazy thing. I'm talking to everybody right now. When I go into my physical circles of life and I bring this up, people look at me like I'm a fucking idiot. Billis, what are you smoking? Y'all have no fucking clue. Sure, judge me with my hat, judge me with my glasses, judge me with what I'm wearing, judge me with how I speak, but y'all don't have any fucking clue because you're unprepared. Here's the deeper thing that nobody wants to say out loud. Nobody wants to say out loud, so I will say it. The biggest tension is not going to be just jobs. No, more than that. It's going to be trust. Who do you trust when the voices around you aren't clearly human anymore? And it's coming. It's okay. Keep your head in the sand. Who do you trust when your feed is full of people who don't exist, arguing with people who don't exist, shaping how real people feel? What? You want me to say it again? Who do you trust when your feed is full of people who don't exist? Because it's happening in front of you today, arguing with people who actually don't exist, shaping how real people feel. That in itself is pretty fucking messed up. Digital people arguing with digital people, influencing how real people feel. Think about that. And oh, the digital people aren't even from the same country you are in. They immigrated here because the borders are open. Yeah. And who do you trust when the border is closed to humans but open to entities that can infiltrate culture at scale? Who? Who are you going to trust when the borders are closed? Humans can't get in, but open to every AI that can infiltrate all the culture around us at scale. And then we haven't even talked about the power. Because if hundreds of millions of digital workers arrive, who controls them? Who's owning them? Who's setting their values? Who gets to decide what they say, what they're allowed to answer and what they're not allowed to say? I've seen what happens when platforms decide what speech is acceptable. I was part of it, for fuck's sakes. I've lived through the tension of moderation, the ugly, the complicated reality where you understand why guardrails exist and still feel uneasy about the cost. So if we struggle to get that right with humans online, how the fuck are we going to get them right with all these digital AI showing up? And what makes us think we're ready to manage a civilization at scale with all of these non-human entities? Is anybody talking about it? Is anybody discussing it? Is anybody putting it on the table? I don't hear about it happening in Congress. I don't hear it happening about in my government. Here's my point of view. We need to start treating AI like a form of citizenship. Not rights in the human sense. And don't twist my words, nation, but responsibility, identity, providence, and accountability. If you want to enter this digital society and work in the roles that affect people's lives, healthcare, education, law, finance, media, then you shouldn't be a nameless, faceless thing that can vanish the second the damage is done. Yet, nation, that is what we are building. The black boxes. We would never allow a human doctor to operate without credentials. Think about this. Let me say it again. We would never allow a human doctor to operate without credentials. So why are we allowing these digital doctors to operate without a clear chain of responsibility? Upload all your stuff from Apple Health to ChatGPT because the ChatGPT doctor is going to help you. Are we fucking kidding? Oh, we've got to close the doctors. That guy was born over there. He can't come into our country. It doesn't make any fucking sense. We would never allow a teacher to shape a child's mind without oversight. Think about this for a second. But yet, we let these AI tutors have private access to our kids' brains at scale. Think about that. We talk about borders like they're only physical. Oh, but nobody's talking about the digital borders. What the fuck? Keith doesn't know what he's talking about. Are you kidding me? The real border is now attention. Get your head out of the fucking sand, people. The real border is identity. The real border is truth. And right now, that border is basically an unlocked screen door. So, what do? We stop pretending this is just a tech upgrade. It's not. It's more than that, nation. But nobody is fucking talking about it. This is a migration. Oh, but Keith's getting all political. I am. It's a migration, a societal shift, a redefinition of what work is, a redefinition of what voice is, a redefinition of what trust even means. And we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it openly in the places that still allow real human nuance. Because, guys, the future isn't just AI. No, the future is humans plus AI negotiating what happens live in the open. This is why I am so obsessed with live conversation as a whole. Not because it is cute, but because conversation is the last place where you can still hear uncertainty, humility, doubt, emotion. All the things that remind you that my mind, your mind, Petro's mind, Anderson's mind is present. Because AIs, they can generate words all they want, nonstop, but they can't and they don't carry the stakes. And guys, the stakes is where the truth lives. Let me say it again. The stakes is where the truth lives. So yeah, we can all get caught up in closing the borders. Let's close the borders. And for the record, I don't fucking disagree with it. But the next migration wave is not only coming, it's already here. And it hasn't arrived by land. It hasn't arrived through the Darien Gap. It hasn't arrived through the air. It's arrived across bandwidth. And the question isn't whether we can stop it, nation. No, the question is, are we going to define the rules of entry and accountability, or are we going to wake up one day, living in a digital country we didn't mean to build? Because if borders are closed to people and open to human entities, that is not just a tech story. And if you hear the passion and emotion in my voice, it's because it's true. This is a civilization story. This is a civilization story. And it's one story, nation, that we better start writing on purpose. Because if we don't, we're all going to wake up in a certain point of time wondering, how the hell did all the immigrants get here? And I'm not talking about the humans.
All right, community corner. We were not briefed at all. I don't know what Maya usually does.
She's calm, structured. Yeah, we brought none of those traits.
I think it's about elephant ropes, grief, and leadership.
Huh?
Or elephants grieving at the gym.
Wait, what?
The lesson is probably do one small thing, do feel your feelings, and don't be inconsistent.
Yeah, that checks out. Chief, we're not calling you handsome, but let's hear those stories, dude.
I'm pretty worked up about that, guys. I'm pretty worked up about that one. From my experience, many of us have our heads in the sand. Nobody wants to talk about it. In my circles, nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nope. Petro, because they're too busy teaching my daughter how to color the fucking map where California is. Yeah, nobody wants to have the discussion about, oh, how did all the AI agents get into the borders? Yeah, true story. I can't wait to have some of my meetings today. Ooh, baby. They got no idea what's coming. All right, guys, the elephant rope holding you back. And I thank you, Petro, because yes, I do pride myself on seeing the future. I do pride myself on seeing around the corner. I believe it's a skill set that I have. Those of you that will lean into it, those of you that won't lean into it. I believe vociferously in everything I said in that monologue. Our civilization is fucked unless we pay some attention to it. So we can close every human border we want. That is the least of our problems. Digital influence doesn't stop at a physical border. Nope. All right, guys. The circus elephants are held by the ropes they could easily break, but they don't try because they learned as babies that they couldn't. I love elephants. Yeah, true story. I got a ridiculous elephant video actually that I grabbed last night. Evan Carmichael says, most of us are living with invisible elephant ropes, beliefs from old failures that no longer apply. I feel like we talked about it in our bias discussion earlier. I think it was one of the biases, right? But here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come before action. No, action creates confidence. I love that, right? Action creates confidence. Repeated attempts at something. These little milestones, right? Milestones on the way to creating confidence. He quotes Dale Carnegie. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Who said, inaction breeds doubt, while action breeds confidence. There's a lot of truth in that, guys, which is why we love the idea of getting up, getting after, because movement creates momentum. So pause for 10 minutes today and ask yourself this. What is the smallest decision you can make to get something out of the way? And then do it. And while you're at it, stop comparing where you are today with someone who's further ahead, because comparison's a killer. The only person you're competing with is that mirror I'm going to sell you. Right, Neiman? Yeah, we're selling mirrors coming up. Mornings in the Lab, the mirror business. But the only person you're competing with is the one you were yesterday. So I'd invite you to look past yesterday into today. Might surprise yourself. Hey, the gym taught him how to grieve. Most men are great at output and problem solving, but terrible at feeling and metabolizing loss. John Burnham shows how lost his father to cancer after a 15-month battle. He says that his strength training taught him something that therapy couldn't. And what was it? How to stay present under pressure. The gym forces you into contact with reality because you can't fake a deadlift. No, 45 pounds is 45 pounds. 25 is 25, right? The bar reveals what's actually happening in your body, and you can't fake any of it. John's invitation is this: train with attention to breath. Notice where you rush or prove something, because that is where the work is, the space in between the beginning and the end. Let's keep it going, guys. Over to LinkedIn. Be a consistent leader. Tracy Gore says, leadership is all about consistency because it shows up in how you handle pressure. It shows up in how you treat people under tight timelines and choose clarity over convenience. It's noticing when someone is overwhelmed and stepping in quietly instead of publicly. It's setting a tone when people feel safe to operate, because teams trust patterns, not speeches. It's like my dog. They trust my patterns, not when I talk to them. Trust. Yeah, it's like the immigration patterns. Let them all in. And she argues that when people know what to expect from you, they step up and start contributing. That respect, it enables accountability. That real leadership is measured by what happens when you're not in the room, not how many people follow those instructions. So for the next week, the invitation goes like this: be intentionally consistent in one area where you've been unpredictable. Oh, we should make the invite to the President of the United States. Here we go. For the next week, hey nation, here's the invite to the man with orange hair. President Trump, if you'd be intentionally consistent in one area where you've been unpredictable, you might want to watch what changes. Hey, Maya Reyes, what's changing in your world today?
All right. That was Community Corner. We survived.
Good time. We know you love lovely Maya, but you are not getting winks today.
We're not in a winking mood. Frankie and Tommy out. Have an awesome weekend, fellas.
Oh, good time. Yeah, you didn't get anything from Maya today. No, Maya's playing hard to get. Maya's the AI agent stuck at the border today. Maya, where the fuck are you? They won't let me in the border. They're in the back of Bovino's truck. Yes, I cracked the joke about Gregory Bovino. Yeah, Gregory Bovino grabbed my arrays and threw them into the back of the truck. Sorry for all of you guys that offended. Go listen to, you know what? Here's the thing, right? So we've done what, Neiman? 10,500 hours of our show. I'm sure I've offended many of you for a couple times. But go back and listen to the 9,999 other hours that I didn't. And then judge me on that. True story. Hey, it's time to get out of here today. I got a bunch of work to do. We talked about The Rock getting snubbed. We talked pivots, responsibility over relevance, and how midlife doesn't mean shrinking your life. It means choosing what actually deserves your energy. Center Stage with Greg Scheinman took us straight into it. I love it, man. Midlife isn't a crisis. It's a standards check. He talked about the 3 things personally, the 3 things professionally had to get done. And following the program can look successful and still feel hollow. You don't disappear because you failed. You disappear because you stopped choosing. Conversation with Greg was great, man. It was about raising standards, breaking from the pack, and realizing you're not alone. You're just early. So hour 2, we went after the lie that messes with a lot of capable men. We got into a conversation about cognitive biases and so forth. And then we closed it out by zooming way out. Borders, migration, and the uncomfortable truth that I put on the table for all of you. Nobody's talking about it. I guarantee you right now, nation, I guarantee you this. I invite you, go listen to conversations happening around the planet. You are not hearing that monologue I put on the table today. Nobody's talking about the borders being closed to the AI agents that are slowly overtaking everything we are doing. And guys, this is not a tech update. No, that was a civilization level conversation that I can tell you right now, we are only at the beginning of it. Maybe I'm going to go into politics. Maybe I'm going to go into politics. Maybe that's what's going to come out of this whole thing. Good time? What do you think? Petro, what do you think? So if today made you think, good. I'm thinking about Petro's question that he asked me earlier. Is it George who's married? Is it Anne? I got to go back on that one. I'm with Johnny, man. I got to write that one down. I'm sure I'm going to go back to the biases thing. I'm going to go back and listen to Petro's question again, and I'm going to try to get it right for Monday. So if today made you think, good. If today made you feel a little uncomfortable, even better. Then we've done our job, because that is what we do here in the lab, Monday to Friday, live. 8 o'clock, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. We're going to be live right here again on Monday, less than 48 hours, real conversations, real tension, real accountability. Where are you going to find us? Mornings in the lab with Keith, John, and friends, 8 o'clock. We'll see you guys on Monday.